Oh, this mode is bad though. I don't have a green screen, so you're gonna see my face there a little bit bigger than usual. I mean, the elemental matches are not worth rewatching. The lesson matchup is definitely worth rewatching. There's a lot of decisions there usually. Does this make me a pro player? I don't know what the pro means. Nobody lives off of like winnings. You gotta grind the content if you wanna live off of magic. So I'm more pro than most pros are. Is this too loud? Should it be louder?
And what are they playing for other than that crown there, Tannen?
There's a lot of money. All the players that didn't make it in here today got $500 all the way up to, let's say, about $4,000 is what the players are going to be having today. So, hey, if they lose today, yeah, they don't make it the Pro Tour, but they get $4,000 in their pocket for coming here. So I think they'll be doing okay.
10K, baby. I gotta pay the taxes though. Like it's 30%. 30 freaking percent. Why is my standard win rate so low? Crazy. But this counts all these like non-games and like whatnot. And probably best of one even, right? Like what does it count? Does it count best of 3? Did I even play a lot of best of 1? I did probably play some. Yeah, I thought here I was playing versus Talent and Monument. Crazy. So my game 1 will be hard to watch. I mean, I won't be able to watch it. So because I played with that in mind. I thought I'm playing versus Talent. I brain farted. I didn't look at the list. Or I looked at the list but didn't realize.
Came in 11th at a world championship in 2022.
Oh look, I beat number 1. So no, I like for instance I looked at this prior, but I just have never in a world would have thought like there's no monument and Talent in a lesson list. Which is probably, let's be real, just bad, but okay. Wait, what's this card? What is this card doing here? Should we play it? Is it good in this list? Is it legal even? This should be an opt, right? Opt is missing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have hesitated for a second on that one.
Yeah, we got a turn 1 grand from Lucas here as well, so both decks are off and running here.
Yeah, got exactly what you want.
I mean, I got a really good hand here, but versus Lessons, that's not really that good of a hand. Why doesn't it go to the...
Be able to attack. It's backed up by Boomerang Basics if he wants to maybe take care of some stuff here. It's got a Spell Snare as well, some interaction. I think we're going to see a great game.
It didn't up the quality, right?
Yeah, it definitely looks to be that way. And, you know, I also want to point out...
Joe, thank you.
The closest thing a lot of players, I think, that are dealing with the pressure that these players have right now...
I don't know why it doesn't up the quality. Oh, no, but it is now better quality. Oh, okay, it is a little bit better now.
Because that's what they have right now. Like, winner is into the Pro Tour, plus gets to play on for a World Championship slot here. So there's a lot at stake in these 2 matches we're going to watch in this qualifier round.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really
so this is a weird scenario. Like you look at this hand, what do you do? What's your plan? Like there is no plan. Like removal completely wrecks you. So you just kind of have to run stuff out. I think here you can plot it or something. No, I went for that. Okay, I went for a setup. Usually in situations like that, I just
honestly, I've been
like you don't know what's gonna happen. Just set up and get to a plan.
The right genes to get
it's usually better.
So I'm very much like
nice. Yeah.
I'm there or I'm not. You know, like it's either gonna happen for me, but I've already put it.
Yeah, that's too me. Wait. Maybe I should turn the cam down. It's too me on the screen now.
Devore gonna get that otter into play, kind of playing around Spell Snare.
But these early turns with this deck are weird.
Come and take care of the otter token, and now
whereas this like a removal heavy deck, you just kind of do stuff until you see, until you have knowledge what's in their hand, right? Based on what's happening in the game. So you kind of either sometimes you set up, sometimes you play stuff. If you have multiple threats, you can play stuff and then it gets removed, and you see when the air is clear, and then you figure out the plan. But it's a weird deck to play. Versus these removal piles. You just don't really, like there is no right or wrong early sometimes. It's just you make a play and based on what happens, then you know. So it's kind of like a cool concept, I think.
Abandoned attachments and accumulate wisdom available to him because of the discount from Grand with the extra lesson going to the yard. So Lucas's deck.
And like sometimes it backfires, right? Sometimes setting up is better than being proactive.
Set up a slick shot here, go for it. And just see what you can get out of it.
Yeah, looks like it's going to meet Spell.
This was rough
because
had
a big impact on standard.
Yeah, and
Spell
we
Snare is
saw
such
it
a
all day
unique
yesterday,
spell.
and I
It
think
only
we're gonna
counters
continue
4
seeing it today.
thingies in the
It's,
deck, but
you know,
the
especially when
longer
we
the
talk about
game
the
goes,
matchups,
like if they
we're gonna
discard
see
it, yeah,
against
then
stuff with,
I would get rid of it. But the longer the game goes the more
right?
likely
That's
they
the
have
key card you wanna stop
mana
with.
up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of key cards, Accumulated Wisdom here, drawing 3 for 1 mana.
But I don't know what
Best assist
anybody
result
playing Lessons,
for
what would you
Snare.
do? You see 4
Grand is
slick shots.
relentless.
Do you keep Spell Snare in or
Yeah,
do you remove
Grand
it?
Grain's seen several cards already now, and this is not what you want if you're from Devore's side, because now Hane's had time to just sculpt his hand to exactly what he wants.
Because if they remove it, the slick shot is actually, I think, good in the matchup because plotting makes for
Lightning picked up
some
for
like
Devore here now. The Grand
tempo
Grand is kind
place
of
where they
already done
have
its
to hold
damage
mana up.
at least, and through the Grand Grand
But if there's
further.
Spell Snare, that plotting is
Plot
just
sits
bad.
here, right? You know, this is a discard outlet for Lucas's deck.
I
Also,
finished number 4
the discount on all the spells has already come into
or
effect
top
quite a
4.
bit this
I don't know
round.
how you say that. Like, I think it was
Yeah, I think
actually
that's
I
the
was
biggest
fourth
thing. Even though it has
by
gotten some
standings
value
at the
already,
end.
like just stopping that discount to just okay, you're already going to play multiple spells on a turn. Let's just make it.
So this
one or
game
two
wasn't really
fewer
that
if I can.
exciting. I think it's just bunch
We're all
of
gonna take care of the tokens here, and
even
Devon, he
even I
definitely
think if
named
I
the
knew I was
big thing
playing
of this
versus
match
a
here.
non-talent
It seems like the creature
version,
is
I don't think
super
like I
important
really
here.
had a
Like,
shot at this
unlike
game.
most of the mirrors where we're fighting over
Too many
monument
of their
making versus talent, it
removals
seems like they
lined up
really care about
versus
the
my
creatures.
threats. Like
Yeah,
this is
and
all what game 1 is
these decks,
about.
not
How
a
you
lot of
how you
creatures, so they're
how
almost
your
at a
your
premium,
removal.
and you can get
I don't know how
situations
their
where
removal
fighting
lines
you,
up
we're
versus
seeing
your
that right
threats. You don't have
A lot
rallies
of
and
things
stuff.
to
You don't have
expect here.
lanterns to
Spellbier's go ahead
interact
and take care of one of those. The
with
advanced
their
weapon,
plan,
though, is
and
going to
then
resolve here.
there is their
Spells-
rall there.
Spellbier's make sure that Grand stays around. Look, she's done so much this game so far for Lucas. He's going to make sure.
But you know what? When I saw the list, I
Yeah,
knew
this
I
is
was favorite in this
a
matchup
tough spot now
because
for the
there
board
is no
because
removal.
Drew
This
into
this deck list
Ral,
doesn't have a
and
single
there's
piece
not
of
really
removal.
an
I think
answer
for
that
all.
right now.
Just 2
Yeah,
seers, but
his
seer
deck,
doesn't reach,
are
or maybe
like the other
3
decks
seers
answering
even. I don't know
Ral,
how many
himself have some
they
real problems
they
with that day
played.
one.
But seer doesn't
Only to
reach
some extent. He does
5
have things
loyalty
like
on
Slip
Ral.
Shot, Show
So
Off,
if you
where they
untap,
can
you
just
just
fly
win.
over and take Ral out in one shot, which is something that.
So it's like kind of
the
nice to
other
have like a
decks
4
don't
mana
possess.
win the
So
game
he has a
card
few
in
other
the
ways to
in
deal
the
with it.
like a 3 off in
But now it's just
in the
you gotta
list.
get on the hunt to be able to do it before it gets carried away.
So what it looks like here is we're going to get.
You just need to resolve it, and as far as I saw, there are not even that many counter spells in that list, because usually
He makes one of his own here.
the normal lesson builds run 3 steps ahead, right?
Yeah, and patience from Lucas there did not use his removal spell on the Otter, and now is going to get rewarded by getting to take down a Slick Shot Show Off and protect Ral.
Gotta love it when the patience really pays off like that. That was huge for Lucas here, because that was quite the top deck for Devore.
Man, you always feel like a champion whenever you're like, I'm just gonna hold this just in case, and then the
Well, this
thing
was
you
actually
wanna really get
relatively
rid of
close.
shows up.
Only
You feel like you
technique,
really
but I
did
think
something.
The worst case
later.
scenario happens, and you're like, oh, thank God I still have
I mean, I guess
this.
Ral
Yeah.
survives is the issue here.
So we've got an opt for Devore
Then,
here. Lucas, I think he's
at
gonna
one
go
point,
ahead
I think
yep,
the
looks
wisdom
to take care of
happened,
this
or-
stuff here. In response, just make sure nothing happens here. No top deck into like spell pierce at a land or something like that, just to make sure this resolves.
Yeah, and this is a little bit tough here now because you have.
I
an
think I'll
Otter, you
skip
can't
here
really do
to the
much with it,
next
just
one
the
because
2/2.
I don't think anything
You could
interesting happened here.
trade
Like
if
this
you
is
try
just
to
a wrap,
attack
like
into
the
Ral
Ral survives,
potentially,
and
but that's not really getting you anywhere.
I'm still obviously trying to get together something because it's a tournament. I would probably concede on on a leader on a leaderboard. Opponent's deck has insane amount of card advantage. 4 stock ups, 4 wisdom. Sorry.
Yeah,
So like two of the key cards like to generate
What does a
value.
win look like for Devore? Like, what does he need to happen for?
I'm wondering. Wait. What did he say here?
or burned or whatever, and the person who kept a couple of creatures on the battlefield the longest ended up winning that fight. Basically, we didn't see really anything crazy happening in that game. It was just a bunch of
Because
little
people, I
Otters
think, have
and a Ral, right? But that was enough.
weird
to
opinion
get
on
the
this
job
matchup.
Now we see
I'm
Devore's
interested.
down a game here. We're going to be going into game 2 momentarily. What does a win look like for Devore? Like, what does he need to happen for his Izzet Prowess deck to actually win and maybe win this match?
possibly some amount of counters to protect your creatures, right? And maybe even particularly just a creature in the form of Slick Shot.
So this is completely wrong. The pause games are not about creatures. You kind of keep some creatures just to distract them. So basically, you wanna resolve Ral. That's what the matchup is most of the times about. Ral or the last stage of the talent, and you keep some creatures to distract them early to buy tempo. So it's not about sticking a creature, even though you are kind of this sort of like, I need a creature and one creature sticks, I play my spells, and you like an kind of, you are like a, what do they call them? A Tron deck or whatever. Like, okay, prowess, but it's more about one creature sticking and you pump it and you win game one. But this matchup, you cannot do that. Like, they have more removal that you have creatures. You want to actually outgrind them. You either outgrind them or stick a Ral. And it's doable because you are distracting their engine with 3 lanterns. So, I mean, it's nothing like, their commentating is obviously was great and all. I think like the commentators, it's also really hard to commentate. You have to, but this is like sometimes a matchup slips and you're not familiar with it and stuff. Not that, because Prowess is not that popular over there.
Show off, right? Because there's no flying blockers for that matter. So if it doesn't get burned,
and if a
lot of damage.
And if a lesson player thinks creatures are important, they're gonna always lose the matchup because they're gonna board wrong.
Can we find a way to, one, help it survive and then still have enough cantrips, right? Because that's kind of the catch-22 to the situation. If you start bringing in defensive cards, you're not able to chain enough spells together to take advantage of all your prowess. So it's going to be kind of a tough balance figuring that out in games 2 and 3.
Absolutely. And, we talked about this. Let's set the stage yet again. These players are playing in what's called our play-in round here in day 2. This is the extra round before we get into the top 16. So the loser of this round will go home with, I think it was around $4,000 cash, maybe a little bit more. But whoever wins this round is going to be playing for more money, but more importantly, qualifies for the next Pro Tour. Actually do. I was looking at the Drake hatch.
What did I board again? Do they say?
Deck, like try to.
So one big difference here is I usually board in, it's Drake Hatcher, Ral, Seer, Spell Pierce, yeah. So usually I board in versus lessons everything but Seer and Torch. And I remove some number of Slick Shot, if not all. Some number of authors, because these are 1-for-1s, you don't want to fight that game. But you still need some to apply some pressure so you distract them from going off too early with... but this is a little bit different. Again, this is not a monument version, but I boarded it similar. And these wild threats and protections are just bad, I think, in this matchup. Because protection seems something like it would be good, but that's not your plan anymore. Ral protects itself. It just, you pump the loyalty, right? So it's kind of weird to have a protection versus 1 mana removal because you protect your creature, they just have another one. So you kind of don't want to fight the battle. You can only play protection versus expensive removal. 2 wild threats minus identity. I would say like 1/1 or 2/2 depends on, like I was boarding that out on wipes. And into the Floodmaw goes and bounces go. And usually when I bring 3 lanterns in, I board in some number of opts or sleight of hands, like maybe 1/1 goes out. But in this particular matchup, I didn't bring in Snare because they don't have the artist talent. And I don't think you care that much about wisdom because you have lanterns. Otherwise, like Snare is one of the best cards versus lessons. But I just thought, like, because you cannot counter the stock up, which is the most important card in this matchup, you just don't want it, I think.
Like, those aren't really doing much. Get out is an option if you think that...
No, this is a mistake. This should be an opt. I don't even know what the vehicle does. Can somebody search up the vehicle? Like, maybe it's good in this deck, and I should play it.
A few more creatures or something.
Would be funny if it actually, like, a mistake would make a better version of this deck.
To prowess off a bunch of spells makes a lot of sense.
Oh, draw your second card. Okay, that vehicle does nothing. It's useless.
Watch this game too.
Yeah, but you're not... Opt is the only card that draws in your deck, so it's useless.
Interesting one to see how each player sideboards, because a lot of it's going to come down to...
If it was 2 spells per turn, it would be interesting, right?
And what they actually have tested against, right? Because...
we spoke a little too soon.
Hey, you put them in there to draw them.
But here you're going to see how basically what Ral does. So, I'll just fast... wait, I'll just fast forward. We're here in this stage where I kept a decent hand.
say, the Otter here. but you
Versus
really don't have anything you could follow.
actually
up with two
clunky,
prowesses
but
to
like see
protect it
what
from
happens,
burning
right? They
itself
bring
in.
Slack Storms in, which is a completely
Absolutely, there's
bad
definitely
card post board.
Spell
Because
Pierce, Mulligan basics, and Ral, the leftover
it's hard to
cards,
evaluate the
or
matchup,
Ral,
what it is
unfortunately,
post
that
board,
costing
if you
4,
never
so it's a
played it.
great turn to be able to slam that into play, but we won't be able to until just.
It's
next
really
turn, but
just about Ral and
before he gets this round to
Storm
play,
Chaser
this might
talent.
be an avenue for victory for him.
Yeah, and actually, I just realized Lucas didn't have any red mana there, or blue mana there till this turn, I think.
Looks like Storm Chaser talent is going to be the play here. Those lands still only tapping for red, though, right? Because there's no island.
Yep. That's okay. Probably going to fire off. Oh, I thought you were going to say just try to get rid of the Otter.
A fan club. Does Magic do Magic players have fan clubs?
So it looks like he might just go for this Ral here.
I was
kinda
thinking
like this with the way these lands
of
are
making
shaped.
like a
What about you?
Patreon, but then
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
going
to
for it, right? You know, this is the
to
one
consider
time
what to
there's no
offer
counters
on
available
there.
to stop it. We know that your opponent's going to have trouble dealing with Ral. So this is effectively as close as you're going to get to a shields down situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not often that they have 2 mana up this late in the game, and you're like, yeah, I don't really have to play around much here.
And here, like
and that
in this
does count
case,
as a
it's
prowess trigger,
impossible
right? So
to
if you
beat
wanted
Ral.
to
Like you
attack
can
with
bounce
your
it,
Otter, you could
and
gamble
I
it
don't know
here.
what you do from there.
Yeah, it looks
Just
like
like
Laura's
it's
gonna
gonna get
not attack the
recast,
Otter
right?
here. Probably worried about starting like this exact play here. Kabushi Technique's going to take care of one of them. We see that Boomerang Basics maybe take care of the other one.
So I'll just fast forward that because I don't think this is. It's really just Ral resolving, and then like
we saw how good they were
there is no
last game,
answer
so
in the
it
deck
is
for
just-
it. Just bounce and,
Yeah, and that was a good
attack
no
it, I guess.
in
And that
all
deck
reality,
doesn't
because
attack
you
that
only
well.
have red mana up. You're probably not keeping that hand right now. Doesn't have much. Ral, just replace it, and make another Otter, right?
On 2
Yeah,
speed. Wait, what?
we've seen how
Can you
much
do that
this is
on
having to do just to take
Twitch?
care of the Ral you have in play.
Oh,
Hey, you got
speed.
a
You
backup here
can.
now too, so you can maybe be a little more aggressive with it. Good call. So let's see how the 4 wants to do this.
Yeah, this is just such a hard spot because it feels bad being this many cards behind, and you know that they have more spells that outright dig than you do because everything in the board deck is a cantrip, right? Lucas has stuff like Stock Up where you can just get the best cards of your top 5.
Yeah, he gets to get card quantity as well. Yeah. All right, so Sleight of Hand and the Elusive Otter look like they're going to be going to the bin here. Going to keep the Ral and the Burst Light here. Well, maybe a double. Maybe the Ral is going to go. So Sleight of Hand, so keep the cards.
There's still decisions, obviously.
Yeah, I think
Like
this is
you
more,
have
all right, I can get rid of
to.
their Otter. We know they don't have much, right? Because we had to.
You don't want to really
buy back
play
the Storm Chaser
sloppy
talent
there
on the battlefield.
because
So
there's
either
way
this is gonna keep
outs.
the Burst Lightning. I think the other cards were just a judgment call.
Yeah, I think the 4 went a little bit deeper into his deck here. You can see why Storm Chaser talent at the top.
And funny is, this card can be a problem, but it's really slow. But it can like once it's in play, it's hard to remove it, and it really makes the lands big quick.
First Light's going to do the same. Take care of the Otter on the other side. Maybe even a nice little chunky attack for the 4 here since there's no creature on board for Lucas.
Right, getting in for 4 there, and you do have the ability to buy back a spell if you want to try to maybe cantrip and do something else next turn. So this isn't a bad situation for the 4, all things considered.
Yeah, absolutely. So back over to Lucas. Let's see what he's got going this turn. A couple of options for him.
Yeah, the thing is, you bring in a Slice Storm for situations like this, right? So you have to decide, like, when are you going to try to fire this off?
Looks like he's thinking about possibly stocking up here, though. Maybe he doesn't think that he has to do it just yet. Doesn't
Well, if your stock up can find a 1 mana removal spell, then it's not the worst thing in the world. Because you're not going to likely, your opponent's empty-handed, so you're not going to die to 1 Otter. Right?
It's
Right?
funny
Not
how they
likely, unless
talk
somehow every one of those-
on
the
double
first draw or
speed.
cantrip, but not realistic with just 1. So I think that's probably the plan here.
Yeah, towards the tower off the top, along with towards the tower was the choice here, along with the land.
Yeah, and Torch works perfectly fine here.
Another copy of stock up still behind us. Got the toe, got the Side Storm. Soul Guide Lantern off the top for Devore. Not the best, but this can be cashed in for another card if you'd
I
like.
kind of want to scroll on the graveyard all
Yeah,
the
check the graveyard
time.
saying, like, do I want to spend the mana to
This is a
get something back to the card, or
replay.
do I just want to go ahead with the Soul Guide Lantern?
Yeah, a couple options there. You could level up the Storm Chaser's talent, pick up something like Opt or one of the cantrips or whatever. Get deeper in your deck. Keep going with Ral, get some damage in. Or you can hold that ability. Looks like you might be thinking about doing that. Let's see, your Soul Guide Lantern's going to trigger all the Prowess triggers. Make Ral go up.
How does this deck perform versus? You mean the demon deck? That's probably your best matchup. Because like when they tap out, you just win. You just plot the slick shot, and you never need to unplot it, and they have to tap out eventually. You can have a 1/1 attacking, and usually they tap up on either on turn 4 or on turn 6 or 5 even with mass removal. I don't think I ever lost versus blue-black demons. I mean, they can still win obviously, but it's really bad for them. You mean
like you really know the final
Sultai?
stuff
Is
early
that a
in the
deck
games.
still?
All right, deciding to attack here.
I don't know. I never played that matchup
Four damage
because
to get
nobody
us.
plays
Ral's
Reanimator
on the deck
anymore.
this turn. Well, let's see. Maybe he torches. If he torches, maybe he opens himself up to possibly the Soul Guide Lantern.
But I would say it's similar
This could be a lot of extra damage.
because their mana is even
Yeah, that's why I was
clunkier.
wondering if he was just going to do it with the Soul Guide Lantern on the stack.
It looks like Devore's going to go ahead and be like, hey, look, I can wait here. I can be patient. You know, I'm going to get to make an Augur to replace this one. 2 damage is fine. And he wants to go ahead and use the most mana he possibly can here, which makes sense. Storm Chaser Talent's going to pick up. Looks like a Boomerang Basics. That's
It's
not
so
bad.
fun to
We
play
see
versus
one
lessons. You
card.
can the
So
talent,
finding a way to
all
really
modes
get
of the
into those
talents
cards.
are relevant.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense to get the basics back, right? If something does happen to your board, you're basically reset with 2 Otters next turn and a bonus card.
Absolutely. Let's see how does Lucas want to play this. Does he feel like he needs to cash in that Slice Storm just yet? He's still got toe as well. He's still got all these stock ups he's been having this entire match.
Yeah, Spell Snare pickup there feels kind of bad because you're just not in a Spell Snare situation here unless something like a Slick Shot shows up.
Let's see the stock can.
The issue, I think now with Prowess is that because blue-black mid-range did well in, I think both the RCs and on Arena Championship, like that gives you one really bad matchup in the top kind of tier decks. Because you're good versus Landfall, you're good versus Lessons, you're good versus blue-black Demon, but you're really terrible into blue-white tempo and blue-black mid-range. And red decks usually. Like red decks, I mean aggro decks.
And that's a good thing to consider, because just like you're saying, this is a game where you very likely could go to level 3 and have it be impactful.
It looks like he does pick up the one that he played this turn, so back to level 1, so stay there. So level 1, level 2, Soul Guide Lantern, picked up for the draw here.
This is fun too. You kind of get an extra Soul Guide Lantern that you could crack if you want to.
But didn't Kaito just win the Arena Championship?
I'm pretty positive we haven't activated this route here this turn. We can activate this route and have it stay around.
And that's likely going to be the play. Yep.
We got to see this yesterday.
Okay, we got the ultimate. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
How's that make you feel?
But still, actually, a lot of decisions
also
here.
That if you go to level 3 on the Storm Chaser talent and everything has Storm, this is going to get real ugly.
I guess not. I mean, there are decisions because they can bounce it, but then you have the... Then you have the emblem still.
Didn't want to commit that turn, but makes sense. He's seen a Slag Storm, right? Doesn't want to give up too much at any one time.
Yeah, the mere mid-range
Yeah, there could
one.
be another Slag Storm as well. Here comes Toph finally.
Toph's gonna allow him to discard a card and turn an instant sorcery from the graveyard they'd like. Then start spending one, so Luke's gonna start making his own army here, as long as Toph stands around.
I actually don't know how in this meta Dimir wins, but the player that piloted it is also really good, I
You
think.
also has to be aware that you're not going to get a lot of value out of your burn spells, knowing that
But like real landfall is terrible
so being
for
able to get rid of otters in any real
Kaito.
size is going to start becoming a problem here.
Yeah, it looks like that's what Divorce is gonna do. He's gonna go ahead and take care of this so the Toph doesn't get the extra card here. There are a couple Seers in Divorce sideboard. We don't know if this came in or not. There's only the one creature here you really want to hit with it, so let's see. Fireman Blessing, go ahead and take care of one of those otters. Make a Spire Wolf now 2-2. Let's be able to attack down this Rel.
But the thing is, landfall didn't even do well. I mean, it did relatively okay, but compared to how many there were, landfall wasn't ultimately a great choice. Too many Simic rhythms, I think, and people were prepared.
Being able to attack next turn, right? And he just decided, I'm probably not going to, so it's not a big deal.
Alright, stock up. You lose a Otter, 2 lands left over for 4 here. Does still have 2 Storm Chaser talent. Does still have Rel. Lots of options here this turn. Check and see, maybe
Okay, I'm not following at this stage. I know that it was about Ral, it was just optimizing the turns. Because obviously there's still decisions even if you're far ahead.
It's better than one stock up.
2. So play the Otter first, you get Storm up on stock up. So the first one gets the Ring Basics and an Opt.
Okay, this one is interesting. Here I get the win because I get 2 Burst Lightnings. But it's interesting how basically Boomerang Basics copies and you have to... Like you get so much value with one Boomerang Basic. With Storm.
So Storm 3. So if you want to pick up his own Storm Chaser talents with the copies here.
So you can go top and both talents go to hand. And then obviously like 4, I think it was 4 on first Burst Lightning and 5 on second, so it was like 20 plus damage.
Yep, and then you have another one already.
No, it was 18 damage.
Hey, that's why we said like Ral is actually a big player in these matchups.
Yeah, we've seen Raul play quite a bit, so more than I can remember in a long time. This has been really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly because, like we're saying, in these Izzet decks, they just don't have burn spells that go at either your opponent or a planeswalker. They're all creature-focused damage, and that just means like, okay, whatever planeswalker you bring in, unless they find a way to punch into it, don't have a way to really remove it.
It's really, I think it's really hard for this deck list. Because when you look at it, I looked at this. What's in the deck, right? Like there's literally 0. Like you can bounce Ral. That's the best you can do. And then here, nothing, right? Like Seer doesn't reach Ral. And when you think about, when you see the counter Spell Pierce is a good one because I usually Prowess cannot really afford to go up to 6 mana before you cast Ral. But there's only 2 quenches. I don't think they can bring Disdainful Stroke in. And there's one, so it's like 3 or 4 counter spells you worry about.
Game changed a little bit after Sideboarding. Any differences you might make after seeing that second game?
Not particularly.
Yeah, here they fixed it. This is the card. No, this is the card. Off should be in.
His play didn't seem so much about, okay, I need to be all in. It's more like, okay, we're going to try to...
I think somebody pointed that out.
Let's just play with that in mind.
Yep, absolutely. Seems like it worked out pretty well for these players.
In Discord chat.
Yeah, I was pretty happy that we did get to see Toph. Didn't really see a lot out of her though, but like,
okay, Negate is good. Yeah, Negate is good. So it's like ultimately 5, which is still pretty low. Because they need to react to other stuff, right?
Being able to buy back a spell effectively, you know,
like talent is always gonna be good.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, we've seen
the talent always stays in, even if you want to remove all other threats.
Such a premium that anything that's just letting you get the extra body over and over is how you can kind of stretch the game out and start pulling away. Because they both have different ways to see a lot of cards. It's just like, what do our permanents look like?
Absolutely. All right, we got a pretty reactive hand for Luke's here. No barriers against Force Tower and Negate. It'll clinch one of the stock ups that have been played so many times. in this. And then Devore, he's got a lot of cantrips. It looks like to start here. He's got stock of his own and a couple slide hands. He does have a slick shot show off, but you gotta be kind of careful when you deploy those in this matchup, right?
Yeah, show-offs are
So-
very powerful.
So these hands are weird because technically they are bad. I mean, technically one show off is bad, but this is not your plan. You kind of just have to be careful how you set up. I think getting a lot of cantrips is not necessarily bad versus lessons because you have all the time. So you just have to be really careful what your plan is and set up. You don't know what you'll get, but you get enough looks and you get selection. Basically, that's the idea.
Powerful for
Keeping
obviously
those
pretty
hands,
much
like
the counter
even
we
if
see
you have
there.
only one
But
thread that you
it's
know
hard
it's
to
gonna
implement, right? 'Cause you have
it's
dodge,
gonna die.
Spell snares, or the quenches also are there, which we're looking at, and then all the burn spells actually go with it, right? So there's a lot you have to deal with to even get that through. So it's hard when that's your main win condition, which is why I think it makes sense for him to change up the strategy.
I'll maybe go on
Absolutely. Now we gotta see.
1.5.
We're gonna get it possibly this turn. It's implied. Since there's a spell pierce in Devore's hand, do you think there's a more likely chance that he goes for it this turn, or are we still gonna wait around?
Man, let's see. You can get 3 spells off.
because there were a
for
lot
sure.
of decisions here.
I mean, I wouldn't. Be
And I don't think
shocked
you
if
ever
it's
want to
split,
expose
but
stock up
there's
into
sometimes
open
when you
mana.
have something plotted
In this
that you can
case,
kind of use the.
you want to
it
set
sounds
up for
a
like
weird
a
situation, right?
tempo play where
I
you
know
can
that
play, I don't know,
what
show off another
Right,
spell
and you kinda have to
plus
play the battle a bit sometimes.
stock up.
It'll quit you getting played on the
But
slide
this
hand there,
th-
you're
this was
actually something
this was
turn.
this actually I intentionally did that, by the way. I intentionally run. Is there like a way to get like on YouTube like a little bit back? Because here I will mess it up. But I intentionally didn't play a land out because I wanted for cantrip to get quenched, and it's tempting from opponent perspective to actually, and it's actually sometimes correct left arrow. Okay, I don't think this is necessarily always wrong in a lot of hands to quench the sleight of hand, because you kind of want to get the spell in the yard, right? That's the whole idea. There's a risk of not getting a target for your spells, and then the lessons don't end up in the yard. But I intentionally wanted to lure the quench up because I had an expensive card in hand in stock up, which I really want to resolve. So that's why I didn't play a land here, even though it might look like a mistake. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and this makes sense because you now know there's only 1 mana. Whatever spell they play, you're going to be able to deal with.
And this was
spell
too much
pierce.
damage
So
to
this
pass
is-
on.
again,
That's
as
why I
much as
like.
you're gonna get
I mean, spell pierce
no
also
nothing you're
eventually
going to do
gets
here is obviously
gets
Yeah,
bad.
you see
So
that quench there, man. Maybe it's gonna come back to bite him just a little bit here.
this is what
Yeah, and I
this
think
turn
had
played
Lucas
out.
left
I
up
think
the
this
mana
turn was
for
the
the quench, you
basically
probably
the
wouldn't have seen
winning
Slick Shot.
winning
Agreed,
turn
I
of the game.
You know, because then it's like, okay, well, I can't work through 2 spells. I can fight through 1 right now. Because it was only the 1 mana, he says, okay, cool, I can go for it with the spell pierce.
It looked like the slick shot did get in for damage. We're gonna be fixing this, and then a seer.
And it feels so good when you know you win the counter, the tempo game with like a counter war. Like you're on the
But then you're
draw,
kind of in a situation
you're gonna be
now-
behind on tempo
Yeah,
until
exactly, so
you're able to
we're
flip
watching
it.
From Lucas's point of view. See what Devore wants
And
to
this
do
was the
here.
turn
We're
where
gonna
where I
use
think I
our
flipped the
play around with it
tempo
right now.
well.
We're gonna negate and accumulate wisdom and stock up here.
I think the tough thing too, when you have a card like Accumulate Wisdom that's not at max value, you always kind of get caught of like, is it worth it just digging to get 1 card for this thing?
Right, yeah, exactly. All right, Storm Chaser's Talent gonna get played here, gonna get met with negates. This is gonna get followed up by a land and a stock up, so the Devore's deck giving him all the guns that he needs here. Boomerang Basics picked up along with another Storm Chaser's Talent. Got that Row that was so good in game 1 here. Lucas, all reactionary stuff here, all cantrip type spells. Let's see what he gets with the stock up.
And this is now
Yeah,
a
that
turn
was a
where
Good hit there.
I
for
could
Devore,
have played
because
around the
now
spell
you know your
pierce,
opponent wants to fight over Storm Chaser's Talent,
but
so
it's
you
a
can
one-off.
lead with that if you
So
wanna
I
see what they do.
think I
And then
decided
you have the
not to,
option, if it
and
resolves, okay, I can
that
bounce
was
it, play it again,
basically
get another
the
card.
game.
If not, then I'll just try to force Row through, and then we're kind of going for a repeat of game 2.
Yep, we'll take a look at what Lucas is looking at here. We got Storm Chaser's Talent, Combustion Technique, Firebending, and then 2 lands. Looks like he might be keeping that shock variant here.
Yeah, probably, and maybe taking the Storm Chaser's Talent.
Does he feel like he needs a threat, or does he feel like he needs another reactionary card? Let's see. Really taking his time.
Wait, what do you mean I'm streaming to
Yeah, it's
them?
also a tough decision, mostly because Devore has just cast stock up, and now you have more cards to consider. Like, okay, well now, what is he likely to do next turn? If I'm not going to be on the aggressive, for old schoolers, if I'm not about to be the beatdown, right? Like, do I just go ahead and take another removal spell?
It looks like he took the extra mana here, kept the Firebending lesson as well. So back over to Devore, picks up a Elusive Otter. Does he want to try to slam the Row here or not? Let's see.
A lot about this deck is like setting up, and you're going through a lot of cards, so it often feels you always have everything, but it's combination of things. You're also digging in the turn where you want to find stuff, digging for your outs, but you're really good at doing that, and it really looks from another perspective like you're always top decking.
trying to
But
think
that's the deck. What the deck
Divorce-
does, like that's what
how many
the
ways do you
deck
have
is
to stop you
intended
from casting
to,
a Row?
how it's intended to play
And
out.
you have 3
That's
cards.
why you
It
have
might
all
be
these
It looks like he agrees with you, Daquan. and this is gonna
small
be huge.
tutors,
How
let's
big
put it
Row
this way,
was
like
in game 2
scry
for Devore.
cantrips.
And the difference here is that it's even better for Devore because you know, you were at least fighting through some number of otters or whatever previously. Those don't even exist on the battlefield right now.
No, absolutely. It's going to get backed up.
And this is crazy. Once you get Ral on 6,
with 2 otters in front of him, this is looking rough for Lucas.
it's really hard to
minimum
lose.
of 2 spells next turn as well if Devor wants to use the adventure side, and or maybe even more, right? Just bounce your talent, replay the talent. So we could get Ral potentially to 10 next turn without a lot of work.
Then Attachments is going to get the extra lessons into the yard to let this Wisdom draw 3 cards. Boomerang Basics picked up along with Green Grand and the land. Not the tough, but like, and he's also got the Firebending lesson. Is this going to be enough to get through this though?
This is a deck that was played on a PT. I think Team Cosmos invented it.
You just can't let Ral get.
So I just was going through different decks during testing, and this one vibed the best with me.
Right? You know, we saw it just go absolutely crazy, and Devor's deck is
And
really
then
good
I did some adjustments though. But yeah,
that can kill you from all kinds of angles.
Well, I was just about to say Grand shows up and get you reduction, which is
not
nice,
not my deck.
Drew a burn spell, burst lightning for it, so
Wish it was though.
Lucas, I think.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty clean, easy turn if that's what he's got in mind, taking care of that Grand. He's got the burst lightning here. He's got Ral. Got exactly 5 mana to be able to take care of this. Looks like that he agrees with you there. It's going to let him attack for 3 as well here. Now Lucas's life total is getting in jeopardy here too. It's getting into the low numbers. We're in single digits.
Yeah, Lucas is kind of priced in. Well, now you just drew another top, so it's kind of your only real play here. But it does net you 2 bodies, and you do have a burn spell to get rid of a.
This still got somewhat complicated in a sense that it was really hard to play versus top. And I think like I might have messed up next turn.
The other copy of top, I believe that's probably where he's going.
Tapping out wrong mana, but then I adjusted and kind of looked like a good play, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, I think you have to. The scary part
I'm gonna tell you, it's next turn.
I mean, there's a couple of ways that Devor could force 8 damage through.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a May, so it looks like he is gonna go ahead and get the Boomerang Basics. This is gonna allow him to take care of both of the creatures play or the Ral if he'd like. It does look like he's gonna go ahead and bounce the Ral, keep porting down Devor's lands. Like, hey, you're gonna have to keep casting this every turn if you want to do it. Also, this lets Steam
so here,
and cast lesson, which is nice for Lucas.
Yeah, just at this point,
there were 2 lines here to consider. I had in mind that I can cast this Otter for green just to trigger Prowess. But then after I already tapped the mana, maybe going for Ral and bouncing and recasting the talent was better, but I'm not even sure what is better there. It played out really, like, it's really hard to lose from that spot. That's one thing, but
and 2 Prowess creatures down, just
it could have maybe been better to
Devor still got to that Ral that he's been casting over and over in this game.
To tap green down here.
Take a look at the graveyard in case he wants to bring something back with Storm Chaser's talent as well. That's another option.
It's just you don't want the top to cook too hard if there's going to be a draw spell or something next turn. So here I just went with this tap and these top, and my plan was to bounce top and trigger these. So basically the land has to chump and they go to 4, which is a 2-turn clock, and then I can rebuy the basics and do it again. But it might have been better to just rebuy the talent, make another Otter. It's pretty similar though for next turn, I think. So I'm not sure what's better, but this might have been a misplay actually. That I think I regretted it a little bit in hindsight.
Much here, but if he does do something Boomerang Basics to bounce something and draw a card here, then the extra blue would have been nice. But it does look like he's just gonna go the route of playing Ral.
He might also I was about to bounce a blocker. Actually, might be the play here.
Yeah, I mean, this life total's low. This might be the play, right? It's just bounce the blocker and start shoving a little bit. Yeah.
It would also mean I end up with another Otter next turn. I think the other play was better.
It does look like it's going to be Boomerang Basics. What's he going to target here?
But now that I already tapped, I had no going back. I was kind of realizing I probably made a mistake, but okay.
So if he wanted to use the Firebending lesson, he would have had to have done it there.
Then I had to adjust.
I was wondering if we're going to see this.
Yep, just to trigger everything is the main ring here. Just one more spell.
Yeah, you saved the buff as well. I think it was better. Yeah, it is true that they go low, right? So a burst lightning wins. There are some upside of this play.
All right.
Still, like, but again, like from this spot, it's really hard to lose. The round on 7, 3 Otters.
Accumulate wisdom to hit strong here, and probably has to be
the one thing they can do is like keep on rebuying the Boomerang Basics and bouncing Ral, but I think that's just too expensive. It's not gonna lead anywhere because it's always plus an Otter from my side, and I can always rebuy my Boomerang Basic.
Yeah, this is difficult.
But yeah, I still think the other play was better.
You can still have a blocker. You can still shoot something. I mean, we know the problem though is you could buy back a spell with the talent. So yeah, this is going to be a really tight turn.
So I wasn't pretending. I genuinely meant it when I said in the interview that I played badly, and it happened 2 games.
Well, there you go.
I think they didn't take me too seriously. They think I'm kidding.
You know, I feel.
But there was like few punts in there.
Kind of right there in front of you.
I don't think it has much to do with being humble, or at least I don't consider myself being humble. Because I'm a sort of an arrogant, like I have this arrogant personality, but It's just you want to reflect your mistakes because that's how you learn. That's how you get better. And if you are not aware of them or if you want to hide them from yourself, you know what I mean? That's just bad. Even if you win, the mistakes are still mistakes. This is an insanely good matchup, by the way, for Prowess.
You have to
but
interact with
I
the elemental decks.
almost messed it up.
Sufficiently to sort of get off the ground. But aside from that, this matchup seems pretty tough for the elemental stack. We saw yesterday, fundamentally all your interaction is an elemental stack, or most of it is sorcery speed, which is pretty awkward against this Prowess deck playing at instant speed. Really awkward.
Yeah, and it looks like Devor has kept Storm Chaser's talent stock up and a bunch of burst lightnings. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Burst Lightning is a weird one in this matchup where it's pretty bad medium to late. You really do need to be able
I think the only reason why I kept that is because there's one threat and I'm completely fine firing 2 burst lightnings into Ashling. You really need to deal with Ashling in this matchup. Or deal it's harder pre-board because you don't have Seers.
And so denying those starts with Burst Lightning seems really valuable to me. I really like the keeping.
No takes his backsies in arena. That's only real life and only if you're... people only if you're a no name on the PT. Because I tried. I had the same situation as what was the person Seth Manfield on the PT, and I asked for a takes backseat, and it was I wrote down the life total and I realized I missed the trigger, and on the same second I just called a judge and said if we can rewind because nothing happened in between except that I wrote out the life total, right? I couldn't take it back. If the same standard applies as Seth's standard, I should be able to get a take back. That happened to me at the PT. That's why I also, I wouldn't even, otherwise ask for a takes his backsies. I just asked because I know that's allowed now, or should be allowed, I guess, based on that decision.
And the Wistfulness itself in the graveyard, and Arya Kavairo already in hand, ready to copy one of those effects.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about too, with Kavairo giving the deck more impact in a way that's useful. I really like that in this spot, Kavairo can copy Thunderflock and actually let Sean get on.
You know what I did in this game? Oh, this was so bad. I mean, bad. It wasn't bad, I mean, it was bad, yeah. It was really, really bad. I bounced...
Hand sculpting here.
I didn't know how Kavairo and Thunderflock works, and I realized it at the moment. But what are you gonna do there, right? You don't know.
Is he gonna need a little bit more mana to work
I just tried, and it bounces still on the.
I think at least a little more mana
on the Kavairo thingy. So I bounced basically the Thunderflock. The Kavairo I bounced so they could Thunderflock from the yard.
I think at this point
but
it's all about whether
you cannot call anybody in the middle of an arena match, right? The timer goes down, so I just tried.
Alright, well, we did see Devor use one of those bursts
And lost because of that.
On the Flame Breeder as you were predicting. So the Flame Breeder goes to the bin. Now we see Sean with Secluded Courtyard available and Kavairo ready to go. Does he have the black mana? Yeah, he has the name Human with it because he needs that as the black source for Kavairo.
Because how Thunderflock is worded, it's when you cast it, right? But I guess because Kavairo doesn't copy, it enters as a copy.
Which we might be seeing here.
Okay, alright, so we are going to see Kavairo come down. Yep, and it is the card draw mode of Wistfulness. It really valuing the value, if that's something that we can say. Ashling Rekindled and Vibrance. So Vibrance is...
Yeah, so this is an instance where actually in real life I would get an edge because I would be able to call a judge and ask for the ruling, but I could not do that in facing the rope. So this is like a rare instance where in real life it's actually better, because usually a lot of the stuff is subjective in real life, and that takes away, in my opinion, from the strategical part, because you have to worry about what opponent is doing. You have to worry about triggers. I mean, that's just it's a different environment, a different puzzle to solve. But this is one case where actually it's better in real life to have that option, to actually ask for a ruling. So you don't need to prepare as much knowing all the interactions as you need probably in arena to do well.
Yeah, Vibrant's pretty helpful here, but a little scary. We know about these two slicks.
Usually I select this, but apparently I just missed, because they give you a question area and apparently I just missed that question.
a little scary to me in
Or
in
something,
Foxy,
I don't
just
know. I
because
don't
it's
even
really hard to
remember
stabilize
that
against a lot of
I
slick
got
shots
it,
show off.
but
If Devor just lots of slick shot show off this turn, and then next turn tries to go like cantrip,
it's
burst,
your
lightning,
gender,
that could be
basically.
a lot of lethal damage out of nowhere. And even if the slick shot show off gets played this turn, a lot of the interaction in hand for
Well, if you
Sean
put
will
nothing,
offset.
it's other.
Right, so now we are going to see Kavira.
And I think I put nothing in. Because like, I usually don't read too much these questionnaires. I just go through like, I write in name and just click on stuff, and that's it.
You know, there's a second Thunderflock roaming through, Wistfulness and Vibrance as well. And I wonder if we're going to get to see maybe some roaming through plus, you know, plus action.
Otter, yeah.
The Dwarf finds the third land. Now, Arya, what options does he have?
I think the options are either to plot a show off and hope to win next turn, or play a stock up and hope to win maybe 2 turn cycles by sort of sculpting your hand to be able to interact with your opponent. Thunderflock being a flying
But
blocker
the
here is
ending
pretty
of this
scary,
match
and
was
though we don't
interesting.
know
I
it
kind of
yet,
still
Devor has 2 turn
almost
lethal.
had a
Oh,
win.
sorry, Sean has 2 turn lethal here because he can play Thunderflock. That is another flying attacker. Next turn, do that next turn, and then the turn after that, play Roaming Throne, and then play double red for Vibrance.
So okay, they go to 3, and now I'm thinking how I'm actually finishing this. It's there and out. And if I get a land, I have, I mean, I have either way a show off plus an attack, right? So I get them relatively low.
Holding back the Thunderflock in the air in order to block, and Devor finds Wild Ride.
And like red land would have been
Yeah,
insane
no
here. Then it would be
third
2
mana
show
here is
off.
kinda
Then it
brutal
would be
for
just
Devor.
game
If there had been a
probably.
third red mana, we could have seen double burst lightning the Thunderflock, Wild Ride the Slick Shot show off, get in for 10. But given there isn't another red mana, only 2 of the 1 mana red spells castable, so definitely no lethal this turn.
Right, and so there is going to be the Slick Shot show off, the one that was plotted at least.
So I don't really have another
Yeah, and I
option
think the
here
question
than
here
going
is, like,
for
is Devor's once again presented with the same
double
choice
burst. I don't
of
know
do
why I
take a
thought
setup turn or do I
that
try and
long,
get
but
the
it's
damage
just
right now? Because
you're
this
kind of
time
more
with the stock up
nervous
and try
when
and set up
you're
your
under
lethal attack, it's fairly
pressure.
likely that you do, but it's pretty awkward that you're just sitting there against this Thunderflock, which is going to be a flying blocker, clear things at some point. And maybe this can do something like bait out interaction for your first Slick Shot show off, no flying blocker, and then your next Slick Shot show off in conjunction with Wild Ride could maybe offer lethal.
Right. Yeah, these Prowess decks, they do have to plan ahead a lot and really think about, you know, how the next couple of turns are going to pan out, when exactly you can kill your opponent. Like, for the great players in these archetypes, you know, they know exactly when they're going to win the game.
You have to really think with prowess what your outs are. Because you're also, you can get one opt and changes everything. You're finding your stuff with one opt. Often, like into multiple spells, into depends how much mana you have.
Yeah,
But here I get another turn, I think. I can set up for another turn, like you can stock up into them.
A lot of the way you want to close out the game in matchups like this is apply some early pressure and then have a bunch of burst damage with Slick Shot show off in the last turn or two, and not having interaction for that Thunderflock. Really tough for that goal.
So I just had to go for stock up here. I was thinking of like trading show off or white red, but that leads nowhere. Like you just lose if you do that. So you have to set up for something with wild right, and you hope it involves elusive water. So you want to get elusive water here.
Not going to have lethal next turn, and then Sean can attack for 5, present another lethal attacker.
And I got it here, so I almost had a win here actually.
Forced into spending this turn.
This is like one spell away basically from a win. From what I have here, and I still get a card.
I think he had a boomerang basics, had elusive otter, decided to go for the threat in the form of the otter. And we're going back over to Sean's turn, who finds
So it was, if it was any spell, I think, or was it even like, maybe it was even a cantrip and I whiffed on the cantrip, something like that happened, like which is really unlikely that you whiff on a cantrip on a spell, because most of your deck is spells.
Okay, so he does have the ability to play roaming throne and wistfulness.
Yeah, I think the question, I think the only way to evolve wins from this point is if Thunderflock attacks this turn.
Right.
This is also not true, right? Like this is not true. The only way I win is basically getting one single spell. Like it's not about show-offs here. It's about this combo. Otter Wild Right is 5. Well, I need an opt basically. I need an opt into spell or something like that. Wait, this is 5. Yeah, 6. I need to get it to 7. And I kind of knew they wouldn't attack here either way, but
yeah. No burst lightning. 3 burst lightnings haven't gone.
because it doesn't make sense to attack with
It's unlikely you're gonna attack
Thunderflock
burns,
if you have lethal
make sure
next
you
turn
keep all those back
guaranteed.
here, I
You
think.
just attack with everything else.
Playing it safe, getting the 5 damage in.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was like here I thought I almost like this was the best draw I could have gotten, better than, well, it's the same as op in this scenario, because just looking for one spell, and I whiffed here. If this was any spell, any 1 mana spell, which is like all of your deck, this is still a win.
Elusive Otter has evasion text on it, doesn't it?
Elusive Otter does say creatures with power less than Elusive Otter can't block.
Okay, it's all coming together. So Elusive Otter plus what you want to do
Yeah,
is
so
Run.
I'm
Oh my
like
goodness.
That's not quite enough
Wait.
damage though.
just going through that. I didn't miss
Chain one-
anything, but this is just it's over.
Pretty over.
Like
for
I
Devour.
cannot win
Elusive
from
Otter.
here
I mean,
anymore.
it's just big.
1 damage short.
The sideboard area. What do you like in the sideboards here for both players?
So for the elementals deck, you want any interaction you can find.
And
the
what
two
I
spheres-
this
the
is
two
maybe
spheres are
wrong.
must.
I'm not sure. But since the matchup is so specific, it's all about how you open. And you usually don't have that much time because then everything gets bounced and then you end up with too many hands and too many cards in hand because all their interaction is basically bounce, right? Bounce off, Thunderflock bounces, etc. That's why I boarded out 2 stock ups and 2 sears in, which I'm pretty sure it's okay on the draw. I'm not sure if that was correct on the play. I just did the same on the play and on the draw. But then I kind of got like pretty medium hands, like too many lands, which doesn't happen often. You're playing 21 lands, but in hindsight, I wish I had a stock ups in.
I can see Spell Snare. I can see this matchup.
I'm not saying
Between
it's
one
like
to
I'm
the
not
other
sure. Like I'm
is
just
just
actually
what you need most
asking
against the
myself
Prowess
at this
deck. And
moment,
Prowess
is
deck
this the
here,
correct
you need to go
boarding?
with
Because
Ashlings and,
what else are you bringing
Flickers
out? Like
on
this,
on
the
turn
spells
2.
are the 1 mana spells are too important to bring your prowess up. So that's your aggro plan, right? You want the protection spells because they have so many bounces, and they don't have them in. They're bad at basically reacting to your reaction, right? And even flying sometimes matters on protection spells. So I think you want those. You want the wild rights because that's your most aggro plan. And I think you want the bounces because Ashling is too good and their big spells are clunky. So even bouncing an Ashling for a turn is usually all you need. So all the bounces are good. So I was going through the cards. This was in pre-preparation because this is what I had written down, like what I want to do in this matchup. And I just didn't find another card that you would want to cut in a stock up. But it happens that then you sometimes
We
flood
found
out.
last time Devour sideboarded exactly the same sideboarding as against the Izzet Elementals deck because it's really that acceleration that gives the element.
You've talked about it before. I often ask you like, oh, what should they bring in? And you're like, well, what can they bring in? What do they have to bring in? And
You
then
can
they
use
bring it,
untaps,
So,
yeah, in this
game number
tournament.
2 between these two players, Sean Doherty on 4-color elementals against.
This deck is your best matchup is Blue-Black Demons. Lessons, I think, are both better than Mono Green. Mono Green is only good on the play. I think it's pretty rough actually on the draw because they get to their nursery too quick. Although it's hard to say, I don't know. Like I'm not. It's more of a dire. Like it's a gamble versus land. It doesn't feel great to play that matchup, but when you're winning, you're winning. Like yeah, it's weird. It's weird. You're basically out tempoing removal decks pretty easily, and this is your favorite. This is your best matchup. What you're playing against now. The worst ones are the one that can apply pressure and have interaction. So like blue-white tempo is bad, blue-black mid-range is bad. Maybe red aggro is probably just bad because they're too efficient at doing what they're doing.
On the Izzet Prowess deck, Sean is up a game, just has to win 1 more to lock up the top 8 berth and continue his
But I don't think like
dominance.
all the top
Fighting his
top
life
decks
now,
are a good
really needs to
matchup
win
for you.
this game in order to stand
It's hard to
a chance.
play versus
Still with the
Lessons,
Mulligan
but
here. I think
you
some
still
top only
end up
6.
being winning more than you end up losing.
Plus wild ride, plus boomerang basics. All right, this could be a quick game.
Yeah, this is basically the ideal stuff for Devour turn 1.
If you
auto,
play
turn
well.
one shot, and then hopefully apply a bunch of pressure on turn 3. I'm trying to figure. I don't think Devour can win next turn, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know. All right.
Okay, so I think I saw Pyroclasms. That's why it was the reason why I plotted and because people I saw because how the stream works, it's delayed, right? And I had some time off in between rounds and I saw this game on Twitch and people were actually thinking this was a misplay. I mean, it might have been a misplay because but I assume they boarded Pyroclasms in.
Devour's also doing the maths, by the way. Trying to figure it out.
I think the counter spell is harder because they can counter Ral. Basically, Lessons don't really win, cannot deal with Resolve Ral. So if you resolve Ral, you win post board. In most scenarios, yeah, they have maybe one removal, but yeah.
Yeah, that and hope that you can run Devour out of action. Well, we know that Devor could run out of action. I don't think Sean's really considering that as a plan here. But also, Sean doesn't exactly have an abundance of options. This is the cost of having a bunch of evoke.
This was horrible for me, so I just went for an extra draw. This was an interesting, actually, play.
It's not like the last game where he had Devor already, you know,
And I think a good one,
more
also.
stuff. But Devor, meanwhile, gets the 6-shot show off down. And well, looking at the options, I mean, it's Boomerang Basics and Wild Ride. How much damage is that if he deploys both of those?
Like,
So
I think it's
believe
just
that the 11 damage,
you're asking
there's
for
like a
trouble
bucket
if you
of
just
8
go
deals,
for
bucket of 3
double
that puts,
for bounce
Sean
their
to
stuff
7,
and
then next
and
turn,
Wild
just
Ride, because
flashing
you
back to
basically are
Wild
left
Ride
with
would be
nothing.
lethal. The main
So I think
risk
you
that
want to
they can
redraw
is you're
here
really
and
running
set
out
up
of
for
action, so you
next
wanna find
turn.
something that lets you play to the bottom.
Also, how that works is
Oh, how about this?
the
How
otter you
about
can haste in
bounce my
next
own
turn,
elusive
so you're not
item
really
forward?
losing the
Play
aggression.
green with multiversal passage, put the counter on the switch shot, get in for 7, and really set it up for next turn. Oh,
So-
Vibrance the draw, for sure.
So Devor needs 12 points next turn.
But this is
One
where I
more
wish I
round
had
to
stock
draw.
up still in. I had 2, but
Vibrance here.
I wish I had 4.
Yeah, Vibrance
Seeing this
managed to
hand.
kill the slingshot show off, which had the counter put on it, and gets a land, and Arya gains 2 life.
This was the
This
best,
covers so much in this matchup.
the best elemental for them.
Yeah, Vibrance being a piece of interaction that this deck more regularly
And
has
here
access
it's
to is, I think,
insanely
its main move in
awkward,
this matchup, the main
because
way
that
it,
green
presents
just
counterplay
hunts
to
me
the-
now.
Izzet Tech's main struggle is that you run out of threats. You don't have that many actual cards.
I think this
that,
was a win
attack the board a lot.
if I had if I didn't have green there, but
What about
fine, I wouldn't be able to cast Otter
So,
last turn or
second
the
Wild Ride
adventure
does
part.
just let Devor win next turn, I believe. You can Wild Ride the Elusive Otter to get in for 6 this turn, then next turn try and double Wild Ride the Elusive Otter to get in for, well over lethal. It is a little awkward though because you do need all your mana for that. So if Thunderflock
Right.
came down and bounced this Elusive Otter, there wouldn't be enough mana for Devor to go Elusive Otter, Wild Ride, Flashback, Wild Ride.
We do know that Sean has Thunderflock available, has the mana as well. Gosh, these games have been
I actually
pretty
thought I
close.
played worse this match. I actually didn't play that bad.
Evasion
No,
deck's
that's how
really
I
showing
look
off
at
this
it. I was kind of scared
the
to look
fact-
at this
The fact that
whole
it
matchup,
does such a good job
honestly.
invalidating blocking, I think
But
really makes this
besides that bounce on the in game 1,
set up such that
I don't think there was that much
set up
wrong
such that,
here.
he's pretty well positioned this game and did win the first game.
Oh, and Sean obviously doesn't know about the second Wild Ride. Is going to go for the Wisp when his finds Bounce Off.
This was, I
Bounce
think,
Off
from
was the
like
one card here
from
that
their
led to the whole game.
perspective,
But then prevents the wall from
I don't
winning.
agree
So,
with that play.
Excellent draw.
2 copies of Bounce Off in the deck, so Sean going
Like, you
digging.
never ever lose if you shock yourself.
Shock himself.
But I mean, obviously,
Enable that. Oh no! Oh Sean.
obviously, there is like double shock consideration, stuff like that, double burst lightning. It's hard. In my opinion, it's easier to lose here from elemental perspective if you tap out than playing around a shock into shock. It would have to be burst lightning fully kicked and a small burst lightning, right? Those are the only 2 outs if you shock yourself. And even then, yeah, but I might, like, I guess, depends if I get another turn or not, right? That's, I think, why Sean made that play. Which is kind of true, right? I could get, although with Thunderflock, I don't really get another turn. So that's why I think this play is a little bit suspicious. Because with Thunderflock, it's so safe to say I won't get another turn.
Oh Sean didn't want to shock himself, which is extremely reasonable.
Yeah,
And there's into the flood more. So this is.
I mean, it's hard, right? Like, it's obviously really,
This
really
is
hard in
lethal
this
if there's
situation.
just
Here I
three
just
hits
get
of shock,
lethal,
and
right?
then 2 Wild Rides are cast on the Elusive Otter, I believe.
Oh, no, I don't have lethal, right?
Plus 2 on?
No, I don't have lethal here.
Yes, I believe so. He hasn't played a land for turn yet.
Okay.
Has he? I don't.
No,
No,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
no, he hasn't played a land for turn yet. He was on the play this game. And
No, that try doesn't work like they think it works, but okay. You have to tap your creature down to harmonize.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty understandable to like miss a weird line like that in this spot. Devor is.
Wait, don't you need to harmonize? Like, don't you need to tap?
Oh, Wild Ride has
Wild
5
Ride-
on the flashback, not 4.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
sorry, that got changed during development.
Yeah,
So
that's,
I'm not used to the new numbers on the card.
that's all right, Arya. You and me, we're just along for the ride. Devor's driving the car here, and Sean.
But by the way, commentating Magic is insanely hard. I tried once, I'll never do it again. It's crazy. You kind of have to know, like, especially if you're the person that is supposed to know about the place. It's brute. You just have to, and then you have to articulate everything, and you have to, and people are really kind of harsh at you when you miss something, and it's super easy to miss something. You miss when you play your game, which you're way more focused in than like when you're just talking about another person's game.
Once again, and Sean does a bounce off as well.
Yeah, and it's a weird spot now for Sean, where he's kind of priced into making sure he has interaction for the elusive order for the rest of the game.
Can they mouse over cards? I don't think so. I don't think so, unless they have some like hidden app or app that they don't show, but I don't think so.
For Sean, he's got what, 11 on board
But
right now.
for instance,
14, I believe.
I mean, I know from because I watch a lot of what's the commentator, Corey Baumeister. Is it Corey Baumeister? Well, Corey is basically, like, you know, the commentator. I watch some of his content, and he really prepares for that stuff. He really goes through, and I assume other commentators do that as well. He really plays the deck, plays all the like kind of meta decks and everything before a big tournament he commentates on. It's actually like a lot of work to be like this sort of like commentator that is supposed to know stuff.
5 looks at trying to find a Vibrance to end the game next turn, with Roaming Throne plus Vibrance just being lethal here.
Right.
Yeah, you stream the hand to Discord, and then they have technical team that
And yeah, in the first spot, I think you try and figure out what it is I think your opponent could possibly have.
that kind of ties that together for them and for the camera, etc.
Right, there is like one copy of Detect Intrusion that could do something about this, but I mean,
because this is basically both of us are streaming on Discord, and then kind of make the screen so
I mean, you just gotta go for it,
both hands are visible out of 2 streams.
Anything about it at 2 life, and that's gonna be game 2 going to Devort to Technic. Arya, it's Burst Lightning.
Yeah, I mean,
this was super. I mean, lucky. At least I played to my outs and then got rewarded. But man, this was a bad hand.
Really navigated it well, put himself.
It's really easy to think like these prowess decks is all about luck, because you're just cantripping. You're basically, your whole point is drawing into other spells, right? That's the whole point of the deck. My last name is hard to pronounce for an English speaking person.
Yeah, this is a pretty good hand for Sean. Just early interaction.
My last name is Detechnik. It has a sure.
Pretty ideal, I think. So not really
it's not even like a letter in English alphabet. But the technique sounds kind of good, so I don't mind.
The Sean bought it in the Pyroclasms only on the draw here, specifically to punish curve outs where your opponent puts 2 Prowess switches in play and tries to press the aggro and deal a bunch of damage to you, and has that board down.
Hard C. I mean, it's actually a letter.
I think it makes a lot more sense when you're on the board, on the draw, and potentially going to be behind more often. So like bring that in for Sean.
CH, yeah, I guess.
Looking at the Storm Chaser's talent.
I mean, but to be fair, I didn't send to their defense, I didn't send the video, because usually they ask you to send a video prior where you pronounce your first and surname.
And probably Sean is sitting there thinking this is exactly what
that technique, yeah. That could be my DJ name. Techno DJ, the technique.
Getting rid of that Flame Braider with Pyroclasm is really nice. Make sure that there's not splashy plays coming down for a while. So Devo will have a while to rebuild with these Storm Chasers talents. So not really out of the game at all. Yet still very even keel. It's more that this Pyroclasm or having the ability to interact with Devo.
I forgot the name of the person that does the interviews in between rounds.
Pyroclasm and then maybe do some wistfulness.
She did a really good job at pronouncing my last name. She asked and like remember the first time and pronounce it perfectly.
If you block, then Sean just doesn't have to use the Pyroclasm anymore.
No, absolutely.
It's just through card. Yeah, I like not playing out the wistfulness.
Look at this hand, 13 life. Who is winning that matchup?
Let's see what Devor has. Can get back and opt NSC. It doesn't have something like the bounce off to start looping these Storm Chasers talents. Not
I mean, I had to play into it, I think.
I am thinking of Boomerang.
Yeah, while he doesn't have it here, the Storm Chasers talent Boomerang Basics loop does sort of.
I was aware that they can have it, obviously. I was also like aware that they can have the 5 mana command, but the issue is if you don't play your stuff out here, you're just gonna lose to 5 drop into anything else basically. So what are you gonna do?
Blow up one of the talents. Can't quite tell which one he blew up. Oh, he did the right thing.
But
He lost the
this deck is really good at setting stuff up.
as it were.
So
But Devor finds stock up
it's not
as
the
well, so
over
this game
after
can
a
have some ways to go.
pyroclasm.
Yeah, very much so. Particularly because of how much pressure Devor's deck can apply out of nowhere once it's developed a bunch of lands. Like if we see stock up into something.
So
where
here
the
I'm
bounce
looking
spell,
for
like
anything,
gotcha off, we might see some- we
like
might
a
see
wild
Lotso, we
threat
might
in a
see
creature,
Devor threatening
basically.
lethal
That's
to
what
his
you
next
need, and I see both. so.
Okay, I mean, there's Slick Shot plus there's a Wild Ride and Burst Lightning.
But it's wild right plus something. That's your goal.
What has the potential
And
to
everything
surprise
else you
as well.
kind of figure out on the spot when you
so-
see cards.
Honestly, I
But you can assume, like, in this position, you're not winning without a wild right.
Yeah, I mean, Devor is exactly one bounce spell off, right next turn. Through the bounce off we know is in Sean's hand.
And I got
at
lucky
least
a
three
little
looks
bit
for
here.
it.
This
Also provides two
was,
looks,
I won't lie, this was a
and
lucky
Ross
turn,
provides a
but
look.
I knew
And
what
on
I
top of
need.
that, there is, like hitting additional cantrips.
Opponent played
while
really
also,
well here.
Devor
They
just digs
they
further.
played Thunderflock into an empty board,
Sean is going
not the
to
throne.
put the Thunderflock in play.
But
Devor
obviously it's
doesn't
easier
find
when you see the show
the
off.
removal spell from his draw step. Does, as you say, have an opt to try and go for it.
Yeah, and I think you just have to
So
go
now
for it
the
here. It's
problem
not
is
really
that
an option.
there's a
It's equal percentage
blocker.
on the
So I
crackback,
know
more
exactly
than
what I
50%
need.
of it
One
as
of my
one
7
stabilize.
bounces.
So yeah,
I do have 7 bounces and I have 2 looks, so
Can he find
and I could get a
something to
cantrip
interact with
into
that
another
Thunderflock?
bounce. So
Basically,
it's like
either it's
actually
one-handed, that's
like in
another
this
look.
scenario was
There
even
are
better.
hooks here in the booth, seeing whether Devor is going to put together lethal, and there is bounce.
Yeah, that was just two perfect draws.
And he has enough mana for all
Two
three
perfect
of those
draws.
spells. So Sean Doherty, despite that
Not
one
gonna lie.
sarcasm, which dealt with
Gotta get
five
lucky
boards,
sometimes.
might be faced here with lethal from 11.
Yeah, and this is like actually the exact perfect string of draws, because if he'd drawn bounce off as his first card, he'd have been in a weird spot where he wouldn't have had lethal without first casting the secret identity. So he'd have sort of been forced to attack for 9.
Because the thing with this is I needed to go up, spell up, right? Since there was a bounce off. Obviously, I would still have to go for it. Because I was on 10, I lose if another Thunderflock comes down. So even if there was no secret identity, I didn't have the luxury to play bounce off. But how this lined up is because it would be bad for me if it was opt into a bounce spell, but it was opt into another cantrip into Wild Ride, so I didn't need to react first. And that's what won the game here.
Threat and getting completely blown up by bounce off, but hitting one extra cantrip into bounce off allows for lethal.
So that was
without
yeah,
needing,
like
split
a
his
lucky
secret identity
sequence.
up
But
first.
what are
So
you gonna do?
that is-
You
that was-
take those.
Devor the technique, finding lethal on the last possible turn here in
Was
the top 16 of
really harder than this matchup should ever be,
in the
honestly.
top 8. That was
But
impressive
yeah.
from Prowess. And
Yeah, really well played. Really well played by Sean to like get around to play those outs, get as far develop as much.
So then I played
Yeah,
Tony.
and
Tony was on
question for
my
me
team,
is-
by the way, on the
Matthew
testing
going to
group.
counter his own wistfulness trigger here?
I was preparing for.
oh, it's not like he's killing.
But this matchup was insane. Like this, I'm so proud of this. Like the everything else was kind of
Yeah, absolutely. That's coming up
a
later
lot
today,
of
but lot
like
money. Three matches,
subjective
2-on-1. So
plays.
let's check out our bracket.
Maybe
Find
I
out
did
what's happened
some
so far
mistakes, but
morning.
this
If you're just
matchup
joining
I'm
us,
so
we're working our
proud
way
of.
through our
I
top
played
16.
so
As
well.
you can see, we've already blasted through half the bracket. We've got the other half to get through here before we head to our quarterfinals.
Yeah, let's find it,
zoom on into
the
the top half of
lesson.
that bracket there, and you can see what's coming up later.
That's the last one I'm gonna react to today. Then we can maybe play if Arena will let us today.
Sure, Devor, I need you to explain more about that. All right, if we do a winner interview, we'll ask it more. Oh, come on, man. All right, Izzet Prowess, the list of choice here for Devor this weekend. What does this deck want to do versus lessons specifically, Daquan?
Let me tell you, I don't know much about raisins because the last time I had them, I think it was an oatmeal cookie. So
That you thought was a chocolate chip cookie, and you're like, I've been tricked.
no. I at least knew it was an oatmeal cookie, so I was okay.
Lola is still
No, this deck's actually
streaming.
a pretty
What?
Sweet change from just seeing the Izzet lessons, and we've seen
Didn't
him
he
navigate this a couple of
qualify?
times throughout the weekend already, and that might be to his benefit.
He's
here,
just
having played this
flexing
matchup a
now
couple of
because
times.
I
And what we've
didn't.
seen is after he sideboards, bring a couple more creatures and then some ways to protect.
I'm pretty sure he's just flexing. He didn't get to the top 8.
We'll see if that continues.
All right, we'll see which flavor of Izzet
Now
comes
he's
out on top
flexing
here
with
for the
his
quarterfinals.
limited
AC11.
skill.
Everybody, welcome in. We're into the quarterfinals here.
Yeah, Lola qualified for the limited championship.
One that we've seen quite a bit. I'm interested if it's going to.
By the way, this list,
so far in this tournament, or if we're going to see something a little bit different this round.
this list is really bad for me because I know I'm relying on Ral pause board, and there are three steps ahead, which is so hard then to resolve Ral. But I'm not sure. I'm actually not completely sure if Tony was aware of what the plan is, because we tested, but I haven't I played versus other people on lessons in our team with Prowess, because I picked up Prowess last second. So I don't remember playing Tony, and if we played earlier, I think he he would maybe win. I don't know, cause like I didn't. Maybe he just drew the wrong part of the deck. Match 2, or maybe I'm not sure if he brought in, cause intuitively versus the main deck you would remove 3 steps ahead, but I think it's like the best card you can have post board. And Tony is great, by the way. Tony is such a good player. When we test it, you get to a higher level if you test with people that are slightly, I think, better than you at that stage. You kind of just immediately step up. And I think in this testing, because of players like Tony and Chris was on the team, and others also, I think my team was above my level. So I really stepped up in this testing for this tournament. I think my gameplay is like gonna be so much better now for the PT. In like overall, I stepped up.
Spells feel strong there, but when the rest of the hand doesn't do anything to help you dig or set up or get lessons in the yard, you're kind of like, yeah, I gotta find something else.
I think we're going to 5 over on Devore side, by the way. Yep,
Flash Breeze is really rough to bring in. I don't think you can, because there's not enough red
Can I get the
spells.
7 back?
Yeah.
Negate is Negate is really good. Negate is even better than 3 steps
I
ahead.
need to be a little greedy. Let me find something else.
Look at this,
You get a couple more
Multo
mulligans,
4. I thought
Yeah.
this is
Like,
over.
yeah, my
Like
6s
this,
are better than this, right? And then you get to the 5, you're like,
you can you're luckily not
Yeah, and
allowed
this
to
is tough, 'cause
concede. You
Tony
have to
has
play at least to
multiple
decent
removal
stage. Like
spells,
that's
so even if
actually
we
in the
keep
rules
double creature, we're just not getting
of
anywhere.
Arena Championship.
actually
Because maybe I would
for
concede
here, I think this is
in
what you have to do
in
it.
here.
Would you kind of agree? Like you just have to kind of hope
Yeah.
roll from the spot?
I think
Why
so.
did I
Yeah,
mull?
to
Wait,
be
let's
fair,
go
like,
back.
Because Tony, no, that's 7.
So
Might be seeing a
Like, yeah, I gotta find something else.
I mean,
we're
it's
going
pretty
to 5
obviously
over
probably
Devore side, by the way.
why I mulled.
To
So,
help you dig.
so
That's
but
5
I can talk through that
Sideboard in
decision.
these games, but
It was just basically mono reaction. This hand versus Lessons, the bounces are your worst spells. And Slick Shot is by far your worst threat. You want basically Storm's Chaser talent, and you want bounce, not bounce, Boomerang basic to rebuy it to get value. That's your best threat. Pre-board. So one single shock in this hand is just not a hand, right? That's why I mulled this hand.
We have 4 mana sources of
And usually you get better. 4 lands is a lot for this deck. You don't want to draw 4 lands. So obviously I mull into even a worse hand. You cannot keep that, go to 5. And my 5 was not a non-lander.
Gotta find something else.
On the draw, but still a non-lander is a non-lander.
Yep, this looks like a
So
5.
I mulled that as well
Might be
to
seeing a
4.
Oh, that's hurtful.
Oh
That's
no.
hurtful.
Can I get the 7 back?
Yeah.
So this
Alright,
was
hey,
my
I'm
mull to 4, which was
I've
actually a
done that
good
few times
mull to
myself.
4.
You're
I
like, this
got
7's
like
kinda
it's really
okay,
hard
but
to get
I
a
need
better
be
mull
able
to
let me find
4.
something else. And then you get a
Even
couple
though
more
all
mulligans,
the
you're
mull
like,
to
that
4s
7
in
was
this deck were
fine.
gonna be terrible.
my
Because
6
what are
is
you
better
gonna
than
keep?
this,
You
right?
cannot
Get
keep
the
a
5
stock up.
over-
You cannot keep
over-
lands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this
So you
is
need
tough.
like
Tony's
basically
hand
one
has
drops into
multiple
getting
removal
lucky.
spells, so even if we keep
Yikes.
double creature, we're just not getting anywhere with it.
Yeah, I actually
And lesson matchup is terrible for you pre-board. It's really good post-board, like
Yeah.
really good post-board.
I
But
think
game
so.
1
Now,
you're
to be fair, I think Tony
you're
is somewhat
super
advantaged
bad
in the first game anyway.
Right.
So I can almost understand
because their
why
removal
people-
just
let me
lines
take a
up
chance
so
on
well
being more
versus
aggressive on
your
Mulligan here, 'cause
creature.
maybe I can
But then you
hire
have
somebody
Ral, and
Yeah,
Ral
he just, like,
changes
Mulligan
everything.
in the first place, right? Like you kind of hit it there. Like maybe he just, I have to get a better hand than what I've been getting in these ones to win these games. They haven't.
Because you're really good at buying tempo,
So,
and once you buy tempo,
and
the Ral will
pretty
resolve
good
on
sideboarding
4.
game, so if you're a Devore fan, if you're rooting for Devore, and
You're not really like you don't expect your creatures to stick. You play creatures post board just to lure the kind of tempo
Yeah, and
out.
Tony's even trying to decide.
If that makes sense.
Are we just gonna grand
It's
and
like
set
such
things
an
up, or what are we
abstract
gonna do?
matchup. It's also one of my favorite matchups to play. But I think you're actually favorite overall.
There's only 2, right? It can't be that bad, but
Yeah, and you know,
Maybe
kind of
not
people
versus
watching the
Tony's
deck, like, oh,
version,
somebody
but
hits it down,
versus
and
a
they
normal
like,
lesson
best deck. It's
version.
like, I think what we've seen even
Tony is
out of
really
the
high on
last
counter
4 or
spells,
5
by
weekends
the
of
way.
Vegas,
A little
they're
too
trying to
high
be
if you
different
ask
deck
me,
for
but
the weekend. I don't think
that's
it's
his
the
play
best deck for the
style,
format.
so
You know, and you're seeing
I
each
can
deck make
respect
small
that.
tweaks
This
weekly
is like
that are kind of
my
in
play style
anticipation
is
of the
this
metagame they're
small
expecting to see.
prowess creatures that nobody understands,
Here,
but
go
yeah.
ahead, kill off the creature, develop the Grand, get a loot off hardest talent. That's met with a burst lightning. And all right, Devore, this obviously be good.
Okay, so
Pop up
here
something
it
good,
goes,
maybe a
right?
flip shot.
Yeah, just
I get
something.
the stock up,
Okay.
and now I know I just
Alright.
need value. And this is not a bad
Sure.
spot
I
for
get it.
me.
You could work with that.
Like I knew I was not in a super terrible position because nothing drastic happened, right? Like I had no pressure. So if there was a monument would come down. If there was wisdom, it would get cast. So I kind of knew here if I get the value, I have a shot. And I got the first stock up. And then once you get a 1 stock up, it's not that hard to find more value.
Right, so Tony opts to go ahead and just play the abandoned attachments instead of leveling up the talent here. And I think he's also just digging.
But I know, like,
Hey,
yeah,
I
people
just need
went
something to
crazy
do.
when I saw so many stock ups. This is also like a actual top deck stock up, so that was obviously
off the top.
Obviously, there was some
If this
luck
works out for
involved.
Devore, this is going to be the sickest after mulliganing
Yeah.
before.
This might be a real sweet. I mean,
But this hand lines up. See how well this hand lines up now. Like I'm ult to 4, but since like basically because I didn't have threats, and Tony's deck is mono removal, that's why my hand could function. Because I had time to draw into more value, and that's what I needed this game. Because if there was a monument, I'm just done. Like there is no game anymore. Monument applies pressure.
Right, Daquan, we might have spoke a little sooner. I might have spoke a little sooner. We got a game.
Yeah,
here.
3 stocks up
Yeah,
in
we do.
this
Now,
game.
we know that the slick shot draw
Also,
is
all
still-
were
still,
top
you
deck.
get to put
They were
another
not
creature on the
from
battlefield,
another
get the attack
stock
in
up,
here.
right?
The
But
creature will
stock
die,
up
but then you also are set up
digs
with double
deeper,
stock up
I
the next
guess.
Yep, Ars Talent, gonna trigger here. Do you want the cyclone card? Nope, combustion technique's good enough to keep. Definitely believe.
I mean, you
that's
can
the
say
case.
also,
Yeah, I think
it
also
goes
we know
both
that
ways,
there's
right?
already
I was
another creature
unlucky
wanting
on
to
the
get out. Might as
first
well.
place to
Yeah,
mult to
play safe,
4,
already
but then I
already
got
built
lucky,
up.
so
Pick up the attachment. Okay.
magic
Well,
is
they're gonna fire this
magic
off main phase.
sometimes.
So this combustion technique is gonna get cycled.
But
Art here
this
now, banned heads, maybe.
here is where Tony actually made a mistake. It's not really, but you see what happened here. It's not really a strategical mistake. It doesn't mean Tony is bad or anything like that. It's something you have to. It's an arena thing. He didn't have full control. No. Discarding was correct. He needed full control here because it didn't give them the priority, right? Because he draw wisdom, he could have cast it and then discard. But there was no full control on. You need to play with full control if you're playing to the outs here, which is, if you're not, I don't know how familiar, I think Tony is more of a real life player. So it could be just that he's not that used to arena or something. It wasn't, I don't think this was just like a technical thing. But he had a chance. Like I think here he wins because now there's a decision, right? Do you draw 2 cards or do you draw 3 cards? And you're obviously gonna take 3 cards. So basically, abandon. He chooses not to discard with abandon, which is correct given that he didn't press full control. But you have to full control before. You have to full control assuming you're gonna get the card that requires a full control.
You want to keep that one. You can see the look on Tony's face.
So
Oh,
I
God.
mean, it's
That was a little bit of
unfortunate,
an aggressive
honestly.
discard,
Like
but it worked
in
out.
real life, this would
Picking
be
up
probably
the,
a win
like, wisdom here,
for
and you're gonna
Tony.
get a fresh 3 cards.
Yeah, so instead of 2, we're gonna go ahead and get 3. That's 2 lands and another removal spell. So that does pick off the otter here. But we're back to where we were. Devore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
Lands,
discarding
and
first
Devore,
card
you can
was
pick up something good here,
good though.
or get some really good stuff off the stock up. Might be back in this game.
I mean,
Yeah,
good.
Devore's
Like
already holding. Like, we're just going to resolve this stock up, right?
it's just full control.
Gotta take a
Full
look.
control basically gives you all the leverage. Then
Correct.
discarding is
So
good,
it's not costing mana,
right?
so depending what the stock
So
is,
in real
it's
life, you
okay.
would always discard, and then
Only 2 spells
if you
here.
get the
We're gonna make a
abandon,
friendly land.
you can just
Yeah,
cast
I
it
could see that being a
in
thing. So you
response
can go
to
ahead
your
and
own spell.
Start building those threats back up.
But in arena, you need
Override,
full control.
fine. If you
Otherwise,
really
you don't
push
have
the button, you would
priority.
think you're not really going to get to take advantage of it anyway.
Is that one a little scarier trying to resolve in this matchup?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all your opponent's removal is instant speed. Probably you're going to outright kill everything you put it on. And really, you're going to have to still build.
So I had this was an interesting decision because most people would take land here, and I was considering taking a land to basically play the talent this turn because I haven't played a land out. But I think it's a faster clock if you take Wild Right, and I think you need a clock here because it just happens like you're just at the timer. The more draws they get, the more wisdoms they can get, and once they get first wisdom, it's probably over because they get everything after that. So I need a clock, and it's actually faster if you go Wild Right plus Store Chase's Talent because it's going to be 1/1, so it's 2 plus 3 plus a prowess, it's 6 hasting damage. Next turn plus 2 threats on the battlefield. It doesn't really do much if you take a land here and play the talent out. It just makes everything slower.
Alright, looks like we're gonna have a otter come in for a ton of damage possibly next turn. This is a big draw for Tony. That's another land. I talked about this, Daquan. If he draws a couple lands in a row, this game might be in the
And now
reach.
another interesting turn, which I kind of
Devore's credit, he might have actually just thought, hey, he hasn't played anything. He didn't counter the stock up.
no, not this turn,
Maybe he
next
really
turn, next
doesn't
turn.
have
But okay,
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, I would
once you
love to be
play,
go all in
once
here.
you stock up and talent
Yeah,
here,
I
and
think
if there's
you
no
just go
removal,
ahead and play a talent, see what
you're
happens,
pretty
play
much
the
good
other
to
talent,
go,
see
I
what
think.
happens, and then if nothing, maybe we wild ride.
Next
Looks like
turn.
Devore's gonna go ahead and stock up even more here.
And I kind of knew there was no removal.
Pick up the island here
next
maybe,
turn.
along with the ops.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're Devore, you have to think he's
Because you always wanna, in this scenario, you always wanna kill the 1/1 in your turn because you get a loot and potentially monument, right?
And this tells
So
Devor
there's
everything,
pretty
because
obvious
he
that
did
there's no
counter
removal
thing, he did
here.
draw any cards, and he didn't
But
try to kill your Otter.
I
So now
didn't
you're saying,
exactly
okay,
have
I think we're
lethal.
good.
Yeah, even though the third card
So I didn't go
is
for
absolutely
it.
no play from Tony. I'm thinking he's gonna like not even play a land.
I mean, I went for it
Well, it looks like he's
to
gonna play a land here, but
to
he's gonna send a
decent
lot of
degree,
information
right?
towards way.
Yeah, this somehow Devor has walked into a situation that he could potentially try to end the game.
All right, that's another wild ride. Okay.
All right, so we get talent number 1 off.
But it's actually interesting. Maybe I should have still went for it.
This is a lot.
Because then Burst
Yeah,
Lightning
and
is
we get to make
lethal,
the other
but
Otter, which we'll be getting
there could be
triggers for
counter
this turn
spells
as
and
well.
all.
Yeah, this gets haste.
So this was, if you calculate this through, it's
And
17
then fire
damage,
off
right?
another, And
Well, do you think he's gonna like
Oh, I
slow
think
roll a little bit? Nope, he's going for it. Okay.
yeah, I was just thinking if you needed a secret identity first, but
A little bit
6
more
and
than
7,
that.
that's 13. You hit him for 2, and then you get 2 more. Is that going to do it?
I think this is only 17, right?
It might be just short. Yeah.
All right, am I counting it wrong? Let's see.
I was so kind of like I was calculating this 3 times, and I was already really tired at this point. It was late for me yesterday, around probably 10 p.m. or even later. So no matter, like this is +2 plus a +2 prowess, right? It's 13 plus 4, it's 17. No matter
This is
how you
tough.
put it. So then
This is
because of that, I was thinking to go for identity here because then the burst lightning is lethal, and I probably should go for identity, honestly. Like this was probably a mistake, but I kind of tilted a little bit because it's really less safe if you go to it for it than I mean, it's more safe if you go for it than wait another turn and try to react, because that reaction can be, I mean, they can get wisdom and that can be 3 or more spells next turn, right?
crazy that this game has ended up this way.
And then
Yeah,
only
it might
burst
be
lightning up
17
would
if you were
be
just to shoot
better.
here. And I
Yeah.
think Devor did the math and went, yeah, I can't do anything with that. But this is still big. Okay, there you
Okay,
go.
okay,
You got
so
your
that's
Okay, and then I almost got
Top three
punished.
draw
Like, I
cards.
actually think that was a mistake,
So we
which
can
it
loot
doesn't
here
look like a
for
mistake, but I think it
Okay,
was a
let's see.
mistake.
All right,
All right.
Talent, not the best. He's still loot though. Give me
None
those
of those are creature removal
Because
spells.
even
Alright,
even
hopefully we can get a lot cheaper.
commentators went, there's no reason for it to go for lethal if you don't have lethal, right? Or to go for all spells. But I think there is actually a reason to go for it, which means like burst lightning, it's easier to rely on a burst lightning to win than rely on random creatures to win. So what if 1 damage to everything happens here? I'm just that. I mean, actually a bad spot because I need to fire identity now in their turn. So I think because given the situation that there was clear that there's no removal, I should have get them down to 1.
Yeah, he's got a ton of mana here. We're gonna start out with abandoned attachments for 1 mana. Artist Talent's gonna trigger. We're gonna get rid of one of these lands.
So actually I punted,
Okay,
even though I
so
said I
Wisdom,
played this
we
game
know
really
you
well. I actually punted.
All right, here's 2 more. All right, we picked up a combustion technique that will definitely kill one of the creatures.
Yeah, that's like step 1.
All right, Tony went from nothing to 5 spells pretty quickly.
But this is why you're doing reviews of your own
Really
stuff
bad
is
card,
so
I guess.
helpful, because you really learn.
The problem is Tony's
Now,
gonna
win no
everything from
punt.
here on out.
Secret
No, but
identity
you
can't
actually
use
don't
losing
see
hex
these things sometimes
spells.
on
If
the
there's a creature on
spot.
1/1 temporarily,
Or
but
even in
if he tries
hindsight,
to
you
on
need to
his
actually
turn, it won't really
review
matter.
it. Because you're in the moment and you're kind of tilting and there's
Get rid of
emotions
draw 3,
and
first rid of resolve,
all of
artist
that.
talent. Get rid of the extra artist talent. Draw an island here. Okay, 3 more fresh ones. There's 2 monuments and a soul guide.
But I think it was a really complex decision,
Get away for
actually.
turn here, that'll give us 3
I mean,
mana.
otherwise commentators
How
will
many
also
times has somebody had a full
recognize
rep
it.
and artist talent charged up and
But nobody
a monument, and you
recognized
kinda
it.
think like monument's kind of barely the card we're looking for here.
Right? Yeah, usually it's, this is an easy game from here. The monument's gonna trigger talent.
And then
Talent's
the
gonna
next
go.
turn is also
Okay.
interesting.
This will allow us to play
Crazy.
2 combustion techniques now.
I'm
Yeah, and that's
I'm ahead
because
now because I know what
you still
happened.
play one,
Sorry
Discard,
for
get a
spoiling
treasure,
things.
and then still kill the other creature.
Yeah, you still have a soul guide lantern for 0 here as well. So this will get the first trigger. So you can pitch a card here. Looks like
Jamda, thank you.
it's gonna pitch the abandoned attachments. Okay. Already has a discard outlet in play with the artist talent. Generally doesn't get interacted with too much, or you can just recast it if it does. So Tony's gonna pitch that first monument.
You can watch on like yeah, I think it is.
Actually,
I mean,
wonder if
it's
this
even
doesn't
better.
matter,
I
because even
think
if you use a secret
maybe.
identity turn
I
creature
think
for
it's even
1
better
month,
because
citizen,
like when you
but
see the
actually
hands, you're in
don't think it
you're
loses
you're
its
locked
ability.
into hindsight mode,
Okay.
which is not always helpful.
Alright, so one of the wild rides got taken out by the soul guide.
You wanna evaluate
Still has the double combustion
things
technique
based
with the
on
treasure.
on
So what we do is
on
jump
info
during
you
the
have
here
in a
for
game,
the
not
Mulligan,
on
first
what
resolve the
happened.
Monument.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really tight turn.
Yeah.
Otters in standard.
big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
I mean,
went
Storm
completely
Chaser
back and forth, right?
Talent
We're
is a
like,
busted
before Mulligan,
card.
before
Okay, so
Suck
here
it
is
up, ready to go
interesting.
again.
I get
Oh, we got a
another
second secret
secret identity, and
Well,
I
never know when they
almost
truly are
flopped. I
Well,
almost
you may not
flopped
be able to kill
here.
a creature.
I was under pressure.
Alright, the
So
others
look
come
at
in.
that. What do you do?
If you're Tony, you gotta believe this is
Um,
lethal, either one of them.
Okay, obviously Burst Lightning first is
Yeah, I'm
correct
just
because
wondering,
there's no
do we wait
downside
till
to
he
that.
commits to a
That
spell?
makes them
Like,
that means they have to react. And then it's
who's gonna
kind of
blink first
obvious
here?
what to
Because
do, I think, but I don't know why
Devore could
why
decide
I
he wants to go
almost
for the plus
overthink that.
power side on Secret Identity, and then let Tony respond. Then he could.
But
try
this
to, I
stack
guess,
will
make
be
an extra with
crazy.
the
This
other one,
stack will
let
get
Tony
crazy
respond, but then he
in
also has
a
Burst Lightning, which could be
second.
lethal at that point because of the other prowess triggers.
Okay, so I go for Burst Lightning.
That's just where we're gonna start. So this makes Tony have to respond here now, and now you have two secret.
Now obviously
Yeah,
you
but
respond,
it's command,
right?
well,
If
like,
you're
you figure
Tony.
These combustion identities are for 14, so they will kill practically anything. But
And we'll
as you say, we have
stop
two secret
here.
identities.
So what do you do now? Because there's one treasure available. Now when this card is on stack, you can react before the second treasure happens. So for instance, 3 steps ahead is not available anymore. But the thing is they cannot get another treasure, so you win if there's 3 steps ahead. So that's why, like here, I thought I need to do something weird before next treasure happens. And I almost overthink it. But since there is no third treasure available in this game, I think it's just like the most obvious play is the correct play, which is protect your otter. But I almost overthink
This
it.
is so crazy.
Yeah, the one on the left. Okay. I did the
So-
same thing. Like, which one is it? Okay.
Oh, I'm
This,
confident
I
we
went
can
back and
put it
forth for
let's highlight
3
it.
times here because I just couldn't figure out the math. I mean, there was
Yeah,
a
there's
math
a lot
based on
happening here
like
because
2
there's also
treasures
some
and
discards that could generate some
whatever.
treasures that could find another answer.
overthinking.
So
So I wanted
this is
to
a big
go.
sequence, and
I wanted to go here and then just pass priority, but that's wrong because they can resolve the treasure before the damage happens. I think you need to hexproof here because then they have to react, because once the hexproof cap happens, the game is over. So they need to then react with something prior to the treasure. So it was the obvious play was the correct
these
one,
draws are gonna really
and
matter.
I look
He's going for the
stupid
plus power
here
side
on the
Sure.
stream
The reveal side,
because
I guess you want to call it.
I went so back and forth.
Looking to reveal the
But
secret identity.
I
Okay.
went
We're gonna
with
mask off.
overthinking. I started with overthinking. For whatever reason, I thought it's
Yeah,
better
I thought
to
we were
do
gonna fight
there,
to
but
conceal the other
it
side,
wasn't.
is what we
I mean, I
were going.
kind
We're gonna
of.
put the mask on. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of went through the
I'm still
situations
gonna do
like 3 times in my head, and then I figured it finally out. But it was
Again, I
the
don't blame the players
level
for
1
really
play was
thinking
the
this
best
through here,
play.
because Devore's probably also thinking that, okay, there's going to be other treasure, there's going to be other cards here.
Yeah, okay. So I think
He's
here
probably
I
thinking a couple cards ahead.
It looks
realized
like he's finally
it,
gonna make the face-up play here. I'm Tony. Let's look.
again.
Look at
That's so bad.
Well,
But I mean, sometimes
your
your own
Oh, yeah.
worst enemy. This is like embarrassing
I've
to
been in some
watch.
spots where I'm about to, win a big tournament or do really well, and like make a top 8, and I'm like, all right, let me triple check everything. So it
Hey, I've
does
had
look like
spots
it's
where I'm only going to win like $500, and
Yeah,
I still
sure.
had those thoughts.
yeah. A finals of an F and we're like, all right, man, let's make sure. All right, so second combustion technique, another artist talent. Second secret identity. We're gonna conceal
Okay,
that again.
okay. You know what I'm scared of? I'm really scared of these moments when you realize you're capable of you're really your own worst enemy. Like, it's scary that we are as humans are capable of doing that. It's just it's so obvious what to do, but it's the moment and the pressure and everything.
And then, mind you, there's still going to be, well, now that one's just going to be hexproof no matter what, right? Because one of them's going to resolve. Yeah.
That is gonna resolve.
You can go through every situation here. The most obvious line is always gonna lead into
I don't know if there's a way out of this. Is it-
I think we're still
into
thinking for
win.
Another, oh, well, no, because you still have the other prowess triggers. to
And
resolve.
everything
Yeah,
else you do, you can mess it
no
up.
matter
Yep.
what. You can-
Wow. Devore, did he manage to win this first one from a mulligan to 4?
It looks like it. Devore to 4, still good enough.
That is so sick.
Yeah. And the
Yeah, look
weight-
at Tony. Tony looks so just.
Yeah, but
You
a
can
lot
understand
of
why,
people
right?
do
No
that.
problem.
Like,
Imagine
I
the people
mean,
here,
even
you and I
like
have been talking about Devore sideboarding
that
and his
that doesn't
movement
mean
and
you're
it's
bad
really
or
fun.
anything. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot.
no,
Everybody does
honestly,
that. Like,
first game,
literally, the
at
best
least it feels like
players.
that first game is the one that Tony really
You're
won,
gonna
right?
see
Not getting that
make
now,
this
it's like,
brain
okay, what's the
farts
game plan from here? Because now you're having
on
to play
the
around with
big
defensive cards as well
stage,
from Devore.
or
Whereas
even
Tony's,
not on the
you know,
big
trying
stage.
to just pick off a
Anywhere, like
couple of
it
things
can
to slow Tony
happen.
down, and it makes every creature that much more potent.
Yeah, take a look at the sideboard changes. A ton of interaction coming in from Tony, plus a Ral and a Quantum Riddler. And on the other side, some Soul Guy Lanterns.
I have a story from the PT, which is quite funny. Christopher Larson, we played in the PT. He forgot to play a land drop. He literally forgot to play a land drop. Like, just a brain fart. And he still won the PT. Like, versus me, he lost because he forgot to play a land drop. Like, he had land, but he forgot to play it. Turn 4.
Oh, good. We've seen 3
But that
combustion
doesn't
techniques.
mean, like,
Actually,
that
it's been
doesn't
pretty
mean
good. It's actually
anything.
the fact
Like,
that
it
they
just,
started some of the
you know what I
rewards
mean?
and stuff.
You can
Yeah, it's
still,
really about stopping a lot of the
like,
cheap,
it's just a
damage
game.
removal, right? Because
Like,
you're almost never gonna
doesn't
get a
mean
switch
you're
shot
bad,
off
like,
through
you're
in
just
this matchup.
brain
We've seen it
farted.
happen, I think, once. It's very hard to happen.
This is the same
So
what happened
kind of makes
here
sense
to
why
me,
they swap a couple of
almost,
these out to give us
almost.
something with
Like,
a little more heft to it.
Yeah, Devore even, I was gonna say, like you said, sideboard 2 of Mal, he definitely agrees with you.
Yeah, this hand's pretty nice though. I mean, you don't necessarily want that much defense, but having a couple spell snares actually not too bad here.
Yep, got past the chance to play side of hand or Soul Guide Lantern. Keep
This
up
hand
with
was, by the way,
spells.
sick.
Have an option for
Once you
national.
have Spell Snare plus something in this matchup early, and Lantern, like Lantern is huge, you're not getting outgrinded. Lantern just means your stock ups are better than their wisdom, so your grind is better than their grind. So you're actually winning the long game versus lessons.
Yeah, this might be a case where both sides are going to just slowly try to leave mana up, set up a few things. I don't think either.
Well, the thing is, we realized, because I didn't see their hand, right? We realized after the game that he missed a land.
Is going to be in a
I didn't know. I thought he didn't get a land
Both
from the
sides have a bunch
stock
of
up.
defensive cards available.
So if you're Devore, are you sticking to that play line here?
I think so. Your opponent didn't do anything. It's not likely they kept a
Also,
hand
I'm
where
not
there's gonna be no removal
responsible for
available.
for
I would
opponents
think if
hitting
the
land
Drake
drops.
Catcher
That's
being your
another
only
thing,
creature,
but
you
yeah.
could be running it into trouble, so you might as well wait till you can try
I genuinely
to
thought I
limit
got
somehow
lucky
with
that
these,
they
spell snares.
they didn't hit a land
So
drop.
sleight of hand picked up one of those stock ups that were so good for him in the first game. I'm a
Yep.
big fan of stock up.
No,
when
that
you're
was in
full of
real
one
life,
mana
Daisy.
cards that are impactful, and 2 mana cards, so you can stock up and still play stuff in the same turn.
Yeah, and both these decks, right, it just helps you build up your stock a little bit on what you're ready to do. Whether
Yeah, I
that's
mean
sitting in your
here
hand,
it would
go off
be
with a bunch of
better to
prowess,
have
or
obviously
just get
the.
that one more lesson into the
But with a lantern, I don't think Gran is that
yeah.
bad here for you because
Not
you
much
can
effort.
eventually find removal with stock
Back
ups
over
and
to Tony here.
stuff.
You're making that third land.
If there's no lantern, yeah, then
Just
Gran
have
is
to build
insanely
the,
bad
spell
because
snares on the mind. Almost
it's
like
gonna activate the
Yeah,
last
let's-
mode too fast.
This, I kind of
But
like what
yeah,
happened here.
like
where
Gran would be
the
bad
board
here,
decided to still take his time,
obviously.
leave the spell snare up, maybe pick off an artist talent.
This
if
this
it
game
were
went
to show up. A little bit
forever,
tough here
by the
if
way.
Tony decided
But
to
it
go
was
for
a
the monument,
really.
but there really wasn't anything Devore could do about it anyway.
Well, he just
I
paid
mean,
for
it's
a
a
third
it
land,
was a
it's
matchup
natural
I'm
for
really
Devore to
comfy
play
playing.
slow
I
game.
really like
Now,
this
finally into that third
this
turn before against Brienne, so he
position
does have the
versus
option to make a
lessons,
play you've been talking about
where
he
you
spell
can
snare
outgrind
plus
them,
leave up spell
where
snare.
you actually have the tools to
Yeah,
outgrind them. I
anytime
think
your
those are
opponent takes
the
damage on a land it
those
passes,
are
you know
your
something's up,
best.
right?
I mean, in those positions,
here,
you're
I
post
think
board,
Clive
you're
is
the
that
best.
the only thing that can really kill the hatcher
Because
is
you're
potentially
like
is
3
the
lanterns
ability
just
to-
make it so
maybe
you
spell snare can actually have some value.
they will never have
I think that's
the
what's
wisdom.
gonna happen here. So let's see, Tony.
Matches are
Finally start
timed,
playing
yeah.
some stuff. Gotta accumulate wisdom.
We actually went down
Doesn't put enough just
to.
yet.
I
He
think
does have the
Tony
fire
went
button,
down
but
to
there's
like
double button
9
stuff here.
minutes, and I went to 10 minutes at the end. And there was
Yeah, I
still,
think the fear
if
for
I
Tony
lost,
is
there
that,
was
though,
still
is,
another
what if I do
another match.
and this gets countered? Then what's
Right.
the next step?
That would be a disaster. Yeah. It looks like he's
But
deciding
yeah,
he
like
wants to
it's
play,
you
like,
play a little bit
top.
slower. Obviously, everybody
Yeah, and I don't
does
even fault him for this.
in these
It's just
tournaments because you
you're not
don't
gonna
want to
get
mess
value
up
off it anytime
something. Like
soon,
it's so easy to
and you
misclick.
don't wanna
This is
blow
not your
multiple removal spells or walk into a trap
everyday
yet, so at least getting this in the graveyard,
leaderboard
you
match.
can get the burn spell up to 3 and maybe have a chance. Now, admittedly, you know it has prowess, so you probably need it to beat a 4, realistically.
Yeah, but when you
at
think
least puts
about
within
it,
range that you could do.
pre-board you cannot
Right,
grind.
like,
Pre-board
it's
is
the garage,
impossible
so
because you
five
cannot
here
turn
against
the
two
wisdom
drops, so it
engine
gives
down.
maybe Tony some more
But
options
if
here as well.
you think
Yeah,
about it,
not a way to deal
the
with a 3
lesson
cost
deck
burn
is a
spell here.
1-for-1 deck if wisdom is not a factor.
Really nice one to show up for Tony here.
So if you can turn
He's trying
down
to
the
take his time
wisdom
with what he's going to
engine,
do here this turn.
like
Maybe a little
you,
bit
the
of
removal
honor
doesn't
game,
mean anything because
Then
removal
right,
traits
immediately
1-for-1.
spell snare the artist talent.
And then this is where Tony can actually kill the Drake Catcher. So good sequencing there. Give
I was
at least a
cutting
window where you can kill
based
for
on
3 and not
play
have to worry
draw
about being 4+.
some number of
Absolutely
either
great play from
authors
both players
or
there.
show-offs.
Alright,
I think
gotta
you just
stock up
need
a lot,
some
couple
to
pieces of
apply
right
some
direction.
pressure so
Spell snare off
you
left over.
you basically
Full
play
guide
some
lantern,
tempo
Devore.
before you
Yeah, I appreciate
you
they did,
drop
though. What I'm
RAL.
always doing is
Because
just
you really
put
want to
less
put
account.
yourself into a
Yeah.
spot where they go
Check,
sorcery
check,
speed
check.
removal. And then you're
Finds another
you're
stock up,
free
wants to go
to
that
like I
route.
mean then
Finds
you're
red
kind
well.
of they open
Scale.
That's
themselves
a
up
pile of good cards to pick from.
Absolutely.
to like a RAL without a
We know
counter
Spell Pierce
spell.
is very good in this matchup. Obviously,
So I
stock up
usually
can
like
help load your hand further.
two
don't
or
have any
3
threats, so finding one
authors
there is also
and
good. Like, this is a tough decision.
1 or 2
Yeah,
show-offs
we were
post
thinking
board.
about like how long this game's gonna go. You know, the double and triple stock up in game 1 was so good for him. I see it's kind of hard for him to pass that up again. And this game feels like it's gonna go a little long, right?
Well, you would think so from here. But I would say after that first game, if I'm Devore, I might be framing some stock up art in my house.
Yeah, on the
Oh, yeah,
play you want
absolutely.
more authors.
Right,
And also
final
depends
line
on the
is way
list
forward, and no real way to
sometimes.
trigger
Like
it
if you
except for Barrage does
see
let you discard, I believe.
also if you
So
see post board
that
a
is
spell
some
snare, you just board
It
show-offs
does.
out.
Seer picked up for Tony as well, just another added removal spell. So it's still got negate
But
here.
most people
That
don't
being held
keep
up, though,
spell
here.
snares. Where is this you?
All right, are we going to go for it with Slick Shot to see if we can force our way through?
Does look like he is.
So this is completely fine, right? You just check if there's removal. If there's no removal, you're in such a good spot. Like this is a situation where you have Lantern,
To all the removal
where you have the more cards than opponent
Yeah,
in
and
theory,
unfortunately, no real way to
and
stop
one man up only means one spell.
Yeah, we saw those,
So if they have it, they have it, and they had it here.
We saw the
This is all fine.
counterplay in game 1 to cards like Firebending lessons.
Also, like, this is like pretty controlly in a sense that you're hitting land drops, you're ahead on lands. Like, this is huge, I think.
Yeah,
Because
actually,
then once you're ahead on lands, you can do stuff with Storm Chaser talent.
Interact here, and you're just kind of having to
And Storm Chase and Talent last mode is really, really
The play
irrelevant.
there for Devore might have been to try to dig to a spell pierce, but we did also just put one on the bottom.
Okay, this got a little bit now. I don't have a removal for Granny. So this got a little bit now. Like Monument Granny can do stuff, right? This is like drawing cards. This is one way to draw cards. I'm pretty safe versus Artist Talent because I have Spell Snare. So that part is covered. So now we have to deal with Granny.
Want to make sure he has another creature sitting around.
So here that's why I'm debating ditching that, because maybe it's just about getting the but I just decided to go for the pressure. But maybe like if I get a Burst Lightning here, I'm in a better position than getting Talent. But since I can then stock up and all, it's I thought I would get to one here, and I don't think I see it though.
How much does each side value the stock up, right? Tony's been sitting on this negate for a minute.
That's a good question.
He wants to spend it on, and then if he does spend it on it,
I cannot not. I need to fight for the stock up here. I know I lose Spell Snare and Artist Talent can happen, but if stock up, like I can lose to basically getting outcarded if I don't resolve a stock up, which was my plan from the get-go. So I cannot really abandon the main plan of this matchup that I formed like from game 3. No, from game 3, from turn 3. So here is interesting, right? There was some talk from the commentators that maybe I should go for the Storm Chase and Talent, but the thing is, that's plus a card for me, right? But Granny is a plus card for them, and I think that in this situation, a card on their side is better. So value-wise, it's the same. But also then like push. I mean, I guess either I would actually push the same amount of damage. So like I don't think they ever broke with Granny there. But you get the idea, right? Like it's actually not negative on value to do that. But their card is more valuable because they're searching for a combo. I have my stuff going on. I'm applying pressure, so.
Devore can up Storm Chaser's Talent next turn and get anything from the graveyard, even if it's just something as good as Opt. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just get through
It's funny because I don't think it was really that.
This is 5. Still got the Soul Guide Lantern as well, so you can keep.
It wasn't really that. It was a pretty obvious play, I think. You just kind of like it's your plan, right?
Decent top deck for him here. He's going to be able to make. I mean, he's got a nice play here. He can go Seer, Firebending Lesson plus Grand if he'd like to just remove everything.
Yeah, and that seems like a reasonable line to take here, just because it clears.
I'm really searching for a Burst Lightning here.
You could start getting some value off this monument next.
And this is why I also don't like cutting Burst Lightning in this matchup. I saw some takes on like how people cut some Burst Lightnings in this matchup. I don't think. I think you always want the Burst Lightning because Granny is so insane.
Mark, yeah, for 3, so that's important.
Yeah, Devore paused for a second there, maybe thinking about using the Soul Guide Lantern.
No streams. Well, I was playing the AC, so. But I guess you're making a joke. There was some insanely intense lines here that I was going back and forth on. I mean, this was obvious that I want to do that, but
it's tough because if I'm in Devore's position, I kind of want another couple.
What did I go for here? I think I got go for bounce off. I was playing around. I was considering quenches still, so I didn't just get a stock up. And that's like a combination. Now I get card advantage still, and I get.
Except the boomerang basics. You see where this gets targeted.
Yeah, I think it's also possible. Just like, hey, I kind of want another card.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's the one that he's already leveled up to 2 as well, so he can keep.
So here I didn't feel comfy going for Granny because I don't have anything else going on.
Yeah, and this is the only reason I would have considered maybe using the Soul Guide Lantern is making sure.
So I went for like because they're low on life total. I actually decided to bounce the talent that's not leveled up because I think the last part is a real plan. I think the last mode is a real plan. So I didn't want to lose the 4 mana investment, which was actually a really hard decision because usually that's not the intuitive line you take. You usually go for bouncing the one that generates more value.
Does he want Seer or does he want like another card off the top of his deck?
That is a good call.
Cambridge, thank you, good morning.
Another removal spell. Which one do you want to get rid of here?
Now, granted, if you think your opponent's only going to end up with otters.
In that sense, it's weird to go bounce Granny last turn, but why didn't you do it this turn? But this was a lot of intuitive thinking. I don't know how to explain it. It's just they are lower. I know the tempo is in my favor. I know I probably shouldn't be spending the extra 4 mana because I'm going to lose the tempo game. So I just made the best possible tempo play. intuitively. I really don't know how to explain this to details why that is better.
Another rule spell to go on. Whew. Hey, he wanted to stock up possibly.
But I
that
know
way
it's
anyway.
better. So I don't know.
Push real hard, and the RNG gods will deliver for you, right?
Absolutely. All right, Storm Chaser talent looks like it's gonna come back out.
All right.
Some things are just intuitive in Magic. At least I have a lot of plays that I cannot explain. I mean, I know a lot of stuff that I cannot explain in Magic.
Likely attack without too much of a threat, and then you
No, it's not that. Like, I wish I could understand it, because maybe that would give me more control over these situations.
Doesn't take away the graveyard just yet, so
here the plan is simple. They will play another monument.
Still a free attack because if
I just need to deny the discard. I don't care about monuments as long as there is no discard.
So you're still gonna get to attack through.
And stock up probably, like, think about it. We are now, this is probably like 30 cards in the deck. I think we went through most of the deck, or like at least half of the deck. There are still 4 stock ups, and I need to find them in next 6 cards. No, sorry, stock up, Burst Lightning. I just need a single Burst Lightning, and if I deny the discard, the monuments don't do anything.
See, 3
All right, that's a clean grand answer.
Okay.
I mean, the lantern does enough just being
First lightning
that.
is big for the Grand, like you just said.
Okay, so I just stopped deck it here as well, but I think I would just find it either way. I mean, the odds were in my favor to find it. And once I have one Burst Lightning, I have multiple, so then no future Grands are a threat, right? This is basically a lock for me. So the only way they get back is get a land. Like, that's the only out here, I think. Because I'm able to get Spell Snare back, which answers Artist Talent. I'm able to deal with Granny multiple times because I have the activation from the Storm Chaser talent. And eventually, I will have 6 mana to spare to basically go last mode and win. So this is just like, it felt good, but there was one out, which was the land. Which is kind of would be bad, right? If they draw it, I'm in a really bad spot, but yeah. It's still then the mana concern and all of that on Tony's side. But I would have to adjust then the plan. But like, if there's no land, this is a lock. I cannot lose from here.
Burst Lightning, let's see. That should take care of the Grand. And let's see how good the stock up can be.
And that's why I go for the Spell Snare, because that denies the Artist Talent. I actually get the Spell Snare, even though it's weird, right? You get a Spell Snare back, which is a counter spell that they see. And a specific counter spell that they see, but it's so good versus in this situation because it just denies everything.
You see kind of a look from Tony there, like,
Yeah, that might be his way of just saying, like, hey, I'm most worried about the Artist Talent under the circumstance. So
no, the land that draws and discards, because that's a way I cannot counter that. I can counter every discard, and I can get the Burst Lightning for Grand.
A lot of creature removal spells, so at some point.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't specify that. The discard land, Agna Quell.
We almost just got a level 3 on the Storm Chaser.
And here I don't need to do it. Like, I wanted to do it, I could do it, but there's no need. There can be counter spells, right? There can be like something into counter spell. Just play it safe here. Just play it safe. Again, you're not losing, so I kind of had to kind of slap myself a little bit with my mind, but you know what I mean, right? I almost got ahead and maybe expose myself to like a spell plus a counter spell. Like if Quench, for instance, could deny the Spell Snare.
Demonstration. Go ahead and target Drake.
This is fine. Like, I don't care about that. That's not a plan anymore. The random creature.
He's saying, I'm not committing to using this because I don't need Storm
Yeah, there's nothing else. I mean, I don't have an extra land now, but now they use the removal. They didn't have stuff, so I just go for it here. Also, would just waste a turn if I didn't go for that. So.
Yeah, now it's just going to be otters for days.
Got the Burst Lightning to make one instant speed. Got another Soul Guide Lantern here to make another one.
And this is now a matter of, there's still one turn where they could Artist Talent plus counter spell, but that would mean no discard that turn. So I think I'm pretty safe also tempo-wise here.
It stops all the other card draw.
But this game was actually, it was so much fun, and that's the one I navigated really well.
Especially knowing that Tony hasn't done anything much the last couple of turns.
Devore has played this game really well.
He's been extremely patient. I mean, there were multiple times for him to take some other actions, and he is saying, nope, until you deal with these talents, I'm just going to take my time. I have plenty of mana. There's no need to rush.
Yeah, you don't want to give a discard that's plus 2 more draws. Now it's just even Artist Talents. It's tempo inefficient, right? There's no discount.
Alright, so one of the removal spells we'll get through here.
No, the other one's already at level 2.
Okay, so no more rebuys. All right. Now, one otter left over if like a slick shot or something.
And here I get then
That's
the
actually okay.
spell snare back
yeah,
with
this one is at
the
level 2.
boomerang
So we
basic
could
because
move
it's
right
not
base hero, the one that's
just
attacked.
safe, right?
That
It
would
worked
work.
till now. Why wouldn't
He
it
puts
work
the wild
now?
rides are inside,
From
so
now
he
on.
technically win right here unless he finds exactly show off. Another
geez.
talent. Okay.
And this is big because if
But
the
see
board
how
goes up an instant,
we both
the only
went
real answer Tony
into
has
time,
here is the
kinda
ability
not
to
into
one
time,
to
but
all his
into the
creatures,
first like
right?
But
time
with him on
warning.
Prowess, all he needs is 1 instant to protect
So it would
There's
actually be
another
hard
okay.
to maybe get the last
So
game
there's another spell snare.
if
So
it went
before,
to the last
this might
game.
be locked.
So somebody would maybe time out.
This game is going to be won on the strength of a level 3 talent.
Oh, I'm getting my dream to go on. I want that so bad. Yeah, burst lightning to the face. Gonna go ahead and get in
Yeah,
7
here it's
damage
just
here.
a wrap.
Gonna put Tony down to 4. Put all the
Yep.
pressure on him for this exact draw here. This has to be a big one, and it can't be something that costs 2.
Well, yeah, and it works out because the only thing that could happen costs 2, and he can use the spell snare on it.
Thanks. Tony gave us a little bit of a wave there. Thanks, Tony. Great run here this weekend. It's gonna
Wow.
I know Tony is like we were on the same team. I know he's happy for me. I would be happy if he won as well. So,
4 in game 1, right? Like I don't think we've.
but we're not gonna watch the last game. I don't think last game was exciting. It was just mana screws, and I don't know. It was a Prowess mirror. Your favorite constructed streamer. Maybe I'll play more constructed though. I'm getting the vibe. Plus, it's just good for me to play constructed because there's a PT coming and more tournaments.